Holds a ball which is slapped back down the ground. Well, there's at least something for this crowd to enjoy. It matters not in terms of the result of the game, but it will feel very good off that bat and give those supporters something to remember the end of the game by, beyond ultimately what has been a New Zealand victory that not many people would have fancied when they were 11 for 4.
Yeah, New Zealand had Sophie Devine to thank for turning that game on its head, and a win for New Zealand at Canterbury levelled the series. It is 1 apiece coming into this decider here at Hove. I'm Alison Mitchell. Welcome along. The crowd are coming in. Let's hope the heat doesn't actually put off too many spectators, because it is expected to be a full house here at Hove. The sea is very inviting only just down the road, but there's a lot of action that we're looking forward to today. The series then 1 apiece. New Zealand haven't won a T20 series against England since 2010. So a great opportunity for them here if they can build on what they did in Canterbury. We had the toss a few moments ago. Henry Moran was out in the middle with the two captains.
Sweltering out here in the middle at Hove, and I'm joined by New Zealand skipper Mealy Kerr. What's the plan then? You've won the toss.
Yeah, we're having a bet. It looks a good wicket and runs on the board in a series decider, I think, is important.
Last game 11 for 4 and you went on to win it. Is this side a team that has developed that resilience through the habit of winning, do you think? What do you put it down to?
Yeah, I think the habit of winning helps. When you win, you build belief that you can win from any position, but also I think within that middle order we have a lot of experience. So with Soph and with Maddie, they've both played a lot of games for New Zealand, so I guess their mature heads and the way they played the game and were able to read the game allowed us to, it was a brilliant partnership and helped us win the game.
Were some stern words offered in terms of getting in that position in the first place?
Not stern words. I don't think I can have a stern word when I was one of the players myself getting out the way I did. So for us, we do want to take the game on in the power play, and sometimes that means you lose wickets, but I think it's also being able to adapt to different situations, and the likes of myself and others probably we didn't adapt early enough, but then Soph and Maddie showed us how it's done.
And what about your team news today?
Susie Bates comes back in for Georgia Plummer, so she'll open the batting, and Rosemary Mayer comes in for Leah Tahuhu.
And that's purely tactical?
Yeah, I think one thing is we've got a squad of 15 here leading into a World Cup, and I think we're in a really strong place as a side where I think all 15 players are ready to go, and to give players opportunity to put their hand up to be in that starting 11 come the World Cup. You've got to try things, I guess, in a series, but also we've got a couple of warm-up games to learn a little bit more too.
You know the weather's always like this around here.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that with the ODI games, but they've turned it up for the last 2 T20s.
Go well today.
Cheers,
Thanks, Mealy. And Charlie Dean, the England skipper, is here as well. Charlie, what would you have done?
We probably would have looked to have a bat first as well. It looks an absolute belter, but ready to get out there and bowl first. What's your team news today? Lauren Bell's having a bit of a rest, but that also means that Sophie Eccleston comes back in and she's raring to go, so that's really exciting for us. Brings a bit of an opportunity for our bowlers as well. And Lindsay Smith's been fantastic in the power play for us, so long may that continue. What went wrong in the last game? Yeah, obviously from the position we were in, to lose a game of cricket like that, it's hard to take. The girls were exceptional up top and we weren't able to make that breakthrough, and it shows how important it is to have setbacks towards the back end of T20 games. Sophie Devine's one of the most powerful hitters in the women's game, and she probably took that game away from us. But it would have been nice to chase that down as well. I felt like we were in a good position. So lots of reflections, lots of learnings, a bit of a quick turnaround, but we're ready to go here at Hove. And series decider, it's perfect preparation for a World Cup. Yeah, a bit of pressure on games, not that there isn't on every other international game, but it feels like something's really on this today, and the girls are up for it, and as long as we can create those situations, then this is brilliant for us moving into the World Cup. And just finally, Lauren Bell's absence is purely resting, there's no injury concerns? No, she's all good. Lots of cricket this summer, and just trying to look after her as best as possible. She's been exceptional for us, so long may that continue, I guess. Go well today. Many thanks. Cheers. Thanks, Charlie. Well, that is the news from the middle. New Zealand have won the toss and they've elected to have a bat first.
Well, thanks to Henry Moran. I'll run you through the two teams then. For England, Sophia Dunkley opening alongside Alice Capsey once England come to chase whatever target New Zealand set them. Maya Boucher in at 3, then Heather Knight, Freya Kemp, Danny Gibson, Amy Jones. Charlie Dean and Izzy Wong. Sophie Eccleston returning after she had a tight quad in the last game. Didn't play in Canterbury, and Lindsay Smith makes up the 11 for England. New Zealand then opening with Izzy Gaze and Susie Bates returning to the side. We'll get more into that in a moment. Mealy Kerr then at 3, Sophie Devine at 4, who had such a big hand to say in the win at Canterbury with the bat. Brooke Halliday at 5, Maddie Green, again in partnership with Devine, played brilliantly to level the series in the last match. Izzy Sharp, then Jess Kerr, Nancy Patel, who picked up a couple of wickets when she came into the side in Canterbury. And then Rosemary Mayer is back into the side, and Bree Illing, that's the 11 for New Zealand. World Cup winner Alex Hartley is up here in the commentary box with me, alongside former New Zealand international wicketkeeper Katie Martin. Hello to you both.
Good afternoon. I nearly said good morning, but it's definitely afternoon.
Definitely the afternoon. We're getting underway in about 10 minutes' time here. I mean, what a scene, what a setting, what a day to be watching cricket. And this is sort of a high-stakes match, isn't it, leading into a World Cup. And both teams have had, changes and things going on in the teams. Alex, just first of all, on England, with Lauren Bell being rested, it's very clear. So Eccleston back, and important for her to be getting some rhythm. But of course, it means a question about who's going to open the bowling if there's no Lauren Bell today.
Yeah, of course. I think Lindsay Smith is obviously so good in the power play. She'll take the new ball, and there's Izzy Wong as well. So maybe she'll have an opportunity to come down the hill, bowl some rockets to New Zealand's top order. But also they've got many options. I think they could go with Freya Kemp with the left arm seam option to open the bowling, give her a new role. For me, I'd go Lindsay Smith with Izzy Wong, but it's good that we're having these conversations on who's going to open the bowling. There's no Lauren Filer, there's no Lauren Bell, two players that have opened the bowling continuously for England for over a few years now.
Do you think that there would have been any think about swapping Bell for another seam, or is it just about we want to get Eccleston back into the side before the World Cup?
Yeah, Eccleston needs some miles in her legs before the World Cup. She needs some game time. We saw Sophie Devine obviously get hold of her in that first T20, so I've got absolutely no doubt Eccleston will have been working on certain things in the nets over the last few days. So every time England don't play with Eccleston, it's a bit of a bummer, because she is the world's best spinner. So good to see her, but it's good headaches to be having on who's going to play and when.
I think it shows the value of having Gibson and Kemp in this lineup. Provides a couple of options with the seam bowling. I almost wonder if Gibson gets an opportunity, because she was typically that away swing bowler early, and I think the clear role for those bowlers now is they bowled so many slower deliveries in that second game. It was very much defensive in the way they've gone about it. So expect a different change in that. But also I think you do so much scenario training at practice to be able to then go into a game and say, if Lauren Bell went down in a semi-final, who's our direct replacement to come in? So it gives a great opportunity in a pressure situation today.
What about New Zealand, Katie?
Who knows anymore?
Georgia Plimmer, 2 golden ducks in the first 2 matches. A 22-year-old opener is now dropped from this third match. Great chance for Susie Bates, who comes roaring back in at the top. That was the position she played in at the T20 World Cup when New Zealand won it. What's your take on that situation?
I'm going to go in the whole theory of opening the batting, and Alex and I have talked about this over the last 2 days, but when I look at New Zealand's success in 2024, there was a period of time where Georgia Plimmer really struggled, and it took an innings against Australia where things just clicked, and then she was on an absolute roll. And I felt Susie Bates was a really key aspect in that for her because of the coaching and the experience that she had. I don't think when you look at Bates's runs, it doesn't necessarily reflect a great story, but the contribution she's had in a batting partnership to support Georgia Plimmer was outstanding. Then we've had that change with Izzy Gaze going up top, and I think the way that they play, they're individual in the way that they play. They're quite, Izzy Gaze likes to sort of be in her own little bubble out in the middle. So maybe that communication and the combination hasn't come together for New Zealand as they would have expected, and that's impacted not just Georgia Plimmer but Izzy Gaze as well. So I think Susie Bates opening will provide that stability and some guidance for the person at the other end as well. I'm sure from Susie Bates's mind, after being at a number 9 batter, it's a really confusing situation. But one thing I know about Susie is she is always prepared to be able to be in that 11 and trusts and backs herself that she's got a skill to do the job, whether it's number 1 or whether it's number 9.
What you want leading into a World Cup is each individual within your team to know their role. And for me, with Plimmer being dropped and Bates batting 9 in the first game, then not playing, now opening the batting, what is everybody's role? And look, Plimmer being 22, getting 2 first bowlers, she's obviously low on confidence as it is, because anybody would be getting 2 first bowlers ballers leading into a World Cup. But what's that going to do for her confidence moving forward? I would have liked to have seen them stick with the two of them at the top of the order. I don't necessarily think they're great for each other right this very second, but are New Zealand looking for the future? Yes. I think Bates probably got a little bit confused with her role when she was bowling all round and not a batter. But if they're going to go with Bates at the top of the order, they've got to stick with it now for a few games, because otherwise everybody's going to be getting so confused on what their role is leading into a World Cup. And with the World Cup win that New Zealand had, everybody was so clear on what their plans were, what their roles were, and their impact that they had on the team. When you look at the team now, you're going, hang on a minute, who's doing what? Leah to who's not your first change bowler? She's in, she's out, she's shaking it all about. They can't really figure it all out. So it looks a very confused team to me.
Is it too early to say that, is it now, for Georgia Plimmer in terms of the World Cup, or is it just still going to depend on, form? And there's still 2 warm-up matches, but you'd imagine, do you think now then that Bates will play the warm-up matches leading into the World Cup?
To be honest, I don't know. For me, I would have kept with Georgia Plimmer, but I would have gone Bates up the top. I think Izzy Gaze had spent so much time having that impactful role through the middle, and I understand they wanted 2 attackers at the top of the order, but it's really clear for me around partnerships, especially opening pairs. You look at Danny White, Hodge and Sophia Dunkley, how outstanding, and that unspoken knowledge that they have with each other. You think Elisa Healy and Beth Mooney, you just knew how they operated together in a pair, and I think it's a worrying sign for New Zealand where they're not sure about what their opening pair has been. And then you look at that flow-on effect that maybe it has. How much did the top order impact Mealy Kerr and her shot option that we typically don't see her first ball? And then you put pressure on the middle order and their experience. So I don't think it's set in stone at all at the moment. I think first game, it could be any one of those 3 opening.
I mean, it would have been amazing, wouldn't it, if, Izzy Gaze hasn't, really sort of taken that opening spot, by the horn, so to speak, 12 off 19 and then 4 off 6. I mean, if they'd have dropped Gaze and brought in Bates to re-partner with Plimmer, who's got 2 golden ducks, that would have created quite a storyline as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But for me, I think Izzy Gaze probably struggles when the ball's moving at the top of the order, and if you can get 3 dot balls on it early, the decision-making and the shot option that she has taken hasn't been that good. We saw a slog across the line. The previous ball, she hit a boundary for 4. So it's just her applying herself and making good decisions and knowing, actually, when you open, there is a lot more time. You might have a few dots or a few extra dots, but you can catch up as an opener.
What do you want to see from England today, Alex, given that they had New Zealand in that position, 11 for 4, and then Sophie Devine and Maddie Green came together in such a forceful way with their partnership?
Yeah, I spoke about it in the last game. You don't, if you have a team 11 for 4 and the team then gets 170 plus, what you want to do is judge yourselves on how you bowled at their best batters. And Izzy Gaze and Georgia Plimmer, no disrespect, aren't New Zealand's best batters. Sophie Devine, Mealy Kerr, Maddie Green are, and Lindsay Smith got Mealy Kerr to play that sweep shot. It's well bowled, great tactics, probably a bit of a brain fade from Mealy Kerr with having to go into the middle early again. She was probably a little bit frustrated with that, so that made her think, slightly differently. But you've got to judge yourselves on how you play against the best bowlers or batters in a team. So I'd like to see England, if there's partnerships, be slightly more disciplined, recognise what's working and what's not. And then ultimately the difference between the game was ball striking. There was 8 sixes in the innings for New Zealand, and there was 2 sixes, with 1 being off the last ball of the game for England. So that was a difference. I'd like to see a few more boundaries and a little bit more risk taken from England.
I also think I'd love for their bowlers to stick to plan A, because when they stick to plan A a little bit longer, they can create more pressure. They went wide hole, slower deliveries really, really early. The 2 batters that love that width. So I think trust your plan A, stick with it. If you get pumped for a 6 against Sophie Devine, trust that you're still in the game.
Katie, we'll be seeing you a little bit later.
Ali, just
yes.
one
Go on.
Before I go. Alex Hartley has given 2 times now, she said, first bowler for New Zealand. So hopefully Susie Bates isn't taking the first. Oh, I bet you she is.
I think she's facing up.
New Zealand's batters, Alex, please.
The finger is already raised.
Well, the players came out through the guard of honour of flames because the day needs a little bit more heat in it out there in front of the pavilion. A lot of spectators are coming in, which is great to see. There's very little shade at this ground in Hove. So there is the top deck of the grandstand away to our left-hand side next to the raised pavilion. You've got the steps leading up there. There is some shade at the top deck there, but yes, those coming in, it is hats, it is long sleeves, it's lots of sun cream and lots of water. Keep cool. England in their navy trousers and their long-sleeved shirts with the royal blue sleeves and the red tops. 2 umpires out in the middle, Jackie Williams and Sue Redfern for us today.
Through the gate, bat pad.
Opening the bowling, Lindsay Smith then. So no Lauren Bell today. So Smith with her left armers, not much spin. It's really these sort of in-swingers
She
from
swings the
around
ball
the wicket.
the most out of any of the bowlers.
It's an
in these two
extraordinary
teams.
stat, isn't it,
Yeah.
for somebody who's ostensibly billed as a slow left-arm spinner, but she's a slow left-arm bowler, and it will be the veteran Susie Bates facing up here around the wicket then. Bell moves in, and Bates drives along the ground to mid-off, targeting those stumps.
Katie couldn't watch that first ball because I would have loved to have had 3 and 3 for 3 games there, Ali, but Susie Bates looked very solid.
A dot ball straight to Eccleston, who's fielding on the edge of the ring. Maya Boucher is out at long on, right in front of us. Drifts one in fuller, low full toss, drilled again along the ground, but straight to Eccleston once more. 2 dot balls here, so good start from Smith and England. Danny Gibson, the other fielder, outside the circle for the moment, out at deep mid-wicket, well in front of square, more like cow corner position. Smith around the wicket into Bates, with inside edge smeared towards the mid-wicket region. Kemp is there to field. Dot ball's building pressure, Alex.
It's a little bit of a hack, that one from Susie Bates, wasn't it? The previous ball being a full toss, probably felt like she missed out a little bit. Lindsay Smith just getting her line right here.
Pauses, moves in again past Jackie Williams, the umpire, outside the off stump, a little bit more width, but Bates not able to get hold of this. And again, Eccleston is in the business, stooping low to field at mid-off. So keeping Bates pegged back. She is New Zealand's record run scorer in this format of the game, the world record run scorer. A little waggle of the shoulders here from Bates. Smith in again, goes for reverse, hasn't made a good enough connection. She was eyeing up that deep third region. Another dot out towards the points region.
She's such a hard fielder to sweep, bowler to sweep, sorry. Is Lindsay Smith, just for a skiddy action, the fact that she's always got the stumps in play. It's a high risk shot from Susie Bates, but she's under pressure now. 5 dot balls. For me, I'd much rather Susie Bates just get out of this over than do something rash.
See what she can do with the final ball of this over. Smith moves in, drops a little shorter, clipped away through what's now vacant mid-wicket region. Gets off the mark with a single. Gibson in from the deep to field. And well, a good opening over from Lindsay Smith. Warm applause from the crowd. Bates will be on strike for the start of the next over. Just that single coming from it.
Yeah, brilliant over from Lindsay Smith. She's set the tone again for England, as she has done time and time again. I think her story's incredible, isn't it, Ali? The fact that, you know, she made a debut back in 2018, played in that World Cup in the West Indies, and then found herself out of the team, and then just played domestic cricket. Fell out of love with the game, but has found that love for it again, and she plays with a smile on her face. And she's back to her best. I think it's a brilliant story, and she's adapted her game so well.
And it shows if you do slip out of international reckoning, like there's always a pathway back. It will be Izzy Wong then, so down the slope.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
That's why
now and then.
Here, Al. Why we have you here. So no Lauren Bell. So opening the bowling then, the duties go to Izzy Wong, standing in front of the black sight screen. She's got to slip in place. And bowling to Susie Bates. And we should be able to find an outside edge. Dunkley has dropped down to deep third, right in front of our commentary box window. Bates settles then. Wong sets off, running down the slope here at Hove. Right arm over, and Bates tries to open the face, ease it out towards cover. Kemp very quickly swoops to field, and again, a dot ball. So Bates will be feeling this now.
She's under a little bit of pressure, isn't she? She's been up and down that batting order like a yo-yo. She's found herself back in her preferred position, but it's not the tone or the start that New Zealand would want this.
I'd be hoping Bates would have been asserting herself on these opening bowlers. Wong moves in again, quickens at the crease, moving forward, just a little shimmy. Not hit, struck cleanly though. Is that a bit of bat and pad out towards the leg side? Takes one.
Now for me,
yeah, it was off the bat.
Izzy Gaze on strike for Izzy Wong. Just keep the stumps in play. She's quite a bottom-handed player, but also sometimes looks quite robotic and a bit stiff with the way she plays the ball. She plays the short ball very well, and we saw a hook one against Lauren Bell, and it went to the boundary like a rocket. But for me, keep the top of middle and off stump in play.
12 in the first game, 4 in the second. So she waits back poised high as Wong moves in. A little bit of width, reaches for it, misses. Wide, though, through to Amy Jones. So 1 extra. New Zealand 3 for none in the power play, but just throwing it out there. And
yeah, not quite keeping the stumps in play, that one, was it?
Point is in position. We've got Freya Kemp there clapping her hands enthusiastically at cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. So moving in again, Wong glides up to the crease, short crop of hair, bowls now, thickish top edge, bounces down towards Dunkley at deep third, through for 1. Not altogether in control of the shot.
It must be a little bit of a plan that from England going wide outside the off stump, because Izzy Wong, first 2 deliveries nicely on the stumps, and then when Gaze is on strike, both of the deliveries being outside the off stump, shorter, maybe wanting to bring that slip in play.
We're changing the field here with Bates on strike. Dunkley's moving from deep third to fine leg. And we've got 2 on the leg side there. We've got a deep backwards square. Lindsay Smith is being pulled much squarer.
Slip's gone back in.
Slip in again. So protection. In fact, Lindsay Smith's moved all the way around to deep mid-wicket.
Bumper.
And Dunkley at fine leg. Right, where's one going to go here? Moves in, bright blue sky at Hove, hot day, making some room, and in fact Wong followed her and it skipped past Amy Jones down the leg side. Some work here for Dunkley to pick up, and Bates is back for the second. Clean pick up and throw from Dunkley. Valuable couple of runs from New Zealand.
It's a great delivery from Izzy Wong, that. Susie Bates just showing all of her stumps very early and follows her, adjusts really nicely.
See, inside edge between the legs.
Yeah, cramps her for room. It's well adjusted there from Izzy Wong.
Bates settling over her bat. Waits. Wong is in now. Bowls, flicks it along the ground. Quick single taken. Throw comes in. The striker's end hard into the gloves of Jones. Quick pick up and throw was needed. So 7 without loss. And the second over of this T20 international. Remarkable to think, Alex, that New Zealand haven't had a win over England in a bilateral series for 16 years.
Yeah, let's hope to keep that going, shall we, Ali?
I'm the neutral commentator here, Alex.
I'm not. It was nice of us to let them win that last game. Show our dominance today, hopefully.
Gaze again. Wong moves in. Bowles beats her outside the off stump. Not much footwork from Gaze. Through to the keeper it goes. So an over. It did include a wide from Wong, and New Zealand have moved from 1 without loss to 7 without loss. But some of those runs are a little streaky. Bates 3, Gaze 1.
Yeah, it's a good over from Izzy Wong, and a clear plan for England to start that ball wide outside the off stump to Izzy Gaze, knowing that she's probably not going to move her feet. She's a little bit pokey and proddy. And it was a little bit of a nothing shot, that last one from Gaze, as Wong went with the fuller delivery. Gaze was probably expecting the shorter one.
How was your road trip, Ali? From Canterbury to Hove? Was it another bad one?
Not only because Katie was in the car. I joke. It took, rather than an hour and 20, 3 hours.
Lindsay Smith, new over to Bates, goes for the reverse. Catch is taken at point. She went for the reverse sweep. And that's a comfortable hold. Lindsay Smith then strikes in her second over. And well, the big move from New Zealand, dropping Georgia Plimmer, promoting Bates back up to the top, has not worked. And Bates has gone for just 3 from 10 deliveries. New Zealand are 7 for 1.
Just haven't learned. They just haven't learned. Such a hard player to sweep. Susie Bates looking for that reverse sweep, exactly what Lindsay Smith wants. The easy option is to knock the ball down the ground. Mid-on's actually out of the circle. And well bowled by Lindsay Smith, cramping Susie Bates, forcing her into that shot. And again, Lindsay Smith with a breakthrough, doing what she's done time and time again for England.
Sophia Dunkley with the catch at point, took it quite low down, but a tumble as she took it, moved it to her left.
They've got to get better at facing spin, Ali, if they're going to win another World Cup. They've really got to sort their plans out against spin, New Zealand. They're just getting too bogged down. They're not taking the easy option.
Well, the pressure's it just built, didn't it, in that opening over? It comes so quickly in a T20.
Yeah. If you're able to just knock the ball down the ground, 4 singles in a row, it makes the bowler think, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to change my plan? Oh,
Amelie Kerr is a new batter for New Zealand, and she was in very early, wasn't she, after the first ball duck from Georgia Plimmer.
She won't be
was a
sweeping
golden
this
duck
one.
in the last game. Smith in. She's on the drive, but again picks out Eccleston at mid-off. But good intent in that shot from Kerr.
Intent.
Intent. Around the wicket again from Smith. Steadies herself. Moves in now. Bowls Kerr. Little shimmy of the feet to work it down towards long on. Get off strike. As Maya Bouchier moves in off the boundary. Sends a loopy throw back into the gloves of Amy Jones. So another one for New Zealand. 8 for 1 in the third over.
That's what I want to see more from New Zealand. Knocking the ball down to mid-on, making Lindsay Smith change her plans. For me now, this is a massive matchup. Big 3 balls here for Lindsay Smith to Izzy Gaze.
There's a gap out to deep mid-wicket. The other fielder is out, and she goes there. Big top edge. Behind square on the leg side for 4. That's the attacking option. She's taken it. It's come off.
Yeah, risk reward there for Izzy Gaze, stepping right outside the off stump, knowing she's getting outside the line. She can't be out LBW. Square leg inside the fielding circle. She gets it up and over that square leg fielder, Izzy Wong, and it races away for 4. Oh, it's actually Alice Capsey, sorry.
Yeah, plenty on that with the slog sweep. So Gaze 5 from 3. Taps her bat. Smith moves in around the wicket, drags up and down lower, and she's forced to defend. Well, it was a drag down.
That's what happens when you hit a bowler for 4. You put them under pressure. She's having to change what she's doing. It's a good comeback.
Big gaps on the leg side here for Gaze with the 2 fielders long on and deep mid-wicket. Fires one a little bit fuller. That's well bowled, almost Yorker length, swinging it in. It was the delivery before that she had the opportunity, Gaze. So Smith, after conceding the boundary, comes out of the over with 2 dot balls. So she's come back at 12 for 1. Lindsay Smith with the breakthrough. Susie Bates out in the third over.
She's changed the game so nicely, Lindsay Smith, hasn't she? Just her, I guess, tactical knowledge, knowing that she can't bowl the same ball more than once in a row. The previous delivery after being hit for 4 was round arm action, quick into the surface. The next one just followed Izzy Gaze wide outside the off stump.
Very canny bowler, isn't she? So Wong to continue. And then it'll be 2 for each of these opening bowlers, and we'll see if there's a change towards the end of the power play.
I'd bowl Smith again here, I reckon.
Keep her going for 1 more.
Yeah.
So Wong awaits. And the batter now ready. Wong moves in. Over the wicket here, looking to clip into the leg side, called through for a single. There's Mealy Kerr. And they take the 1, so 13 for 1. A leg bye signalled there by Sue Redfern, so off the pad of Kerr. She stays on 1, Gaze on 5. The next batter in, Sophie Devine. Why is she retiring? She's at the top of her game still, isn't she?
She deserves to milk that franchise circuit for a while before she gets too old, doesn't she?
Yeah, do you know, there is something it makes you very happy as someone who's watched her for all these years at the age of 36 as she is now, as Wong moves in here. Gaze sets herself for a scoop, doesn't get connection. It's gone through to Amy Jones, almost a half appeal, as if to say, was there something on that? But she went for the ramp, and Sue Redfern is having none of it. It was a very half-hearted appeal.
Yeah, there was a slight conversation between Amy Jones and Heather Knight, but we decided against it.
Yeah, Knight there at first slip.
I thought Gaze looked a little bit guilty, but it might have just been the fact that she missed it.
The look of somebody who knew they could have done better.
I think she's hit that.
Was there something on that replay? Wong over the wicket again this time. A little tucked up and the ball's come back into her. Strikes her on the body, on the pad, drops right in front of her. And it's left there for Bouchier to pick up. Wong will move back to her mark. Well, I'd like to see that one again on replay then. Is this the shot before? No, we're seeing this one cut back in, striking her right up in the midriff. Now slip moving out. Heather Knight is taking up her position at a shortish mid-wicket. And Gibson moving round a little square inside the circle. Protection at deep mid-wicket, and fine leg then still is Sophia Dunkley here for Izzy Gaze, facing up to Wong. He's bowled a couple of dot balls now, 2 in a row. Wong moves in again, looking to work it into the leg side, finds Knight there. So getting some good movement off the pitch here as Wong.
Yeah, it's lovely, lovely delivery that from Izzy Wong, and Izzy Gaze just signals that that's swung in as well. Nip back, swung in, done a little bit of everything. Started outside the off stump. It's
Yeah.
a mile that.
Swung in and then nipped in off the pitch.
Brilliant delivery, yeah. Still not seen the replay of the scoop.
Did they show it on the big screen for the spectators? There used to be directives about showing those kind of things in case it incites the crowd. She set herself for the scoop again. It's gone aerial. It'll be safe and can't be stopped. It goes for 4. Fielder quite wide. It's gone fine enough down towards the sight screen. So she set herself well for the shot that time, and it worked. 17 for 1 New Zealand. Gaze on to 9.
Yeah, got herself into a much better position there. Izzy Gaze, knowing that Izzy Wong's going to go full. It was actually wide outside the off stump, so she's got herself right across. Ends up having to adjust as the ball's not quite where she wants it to be, but it's a brilliant shot. Still want to see that previous one though, Ali.
Keep watching in case it turns up again. Wong moves in here. Gaze lofts this high over long on, and that will go all the way for 6. Plenty on it. Down towards this enormous block of flats with scaffolding well behind the blue seating. This one made it over the boundary rope and pitched between the boundary rope and the advertising hoardings. Lovely lofted drive.
Yeah, a little bit too full from Izzy Wong in the slot. And Izzy Gaze, having got the previous one away for a boundary, has the confidence. It's in her slot. She knows what she wants to do. Lovely timing from Gaze.
She'll want a little bit more of that if she can. And start to build a partnership here with Mealy Kerr. 23 for 1 New Zealand after 4 overs.
Crowd favourite. Coming onto ball here.
There we go. So the returning Sophie Eccleston had a bit of a tight quad, missed the game in Canterbury. She comes roaring back into the side, and she potentially has such an important role to play for England over the course of the World Cup.
Yeah.
And first up, I'm just going to be bowling to the New Zealand captain, Mealy Kerr. Chops it away into the ground, out towards point. Picked up cleanly by Dunkley. No run then, dot ball for Eccleston.
I mean, I remember that for a while there was such a long period of games where Eccleston took consecutive wickets. Felt like it was never going to end. She was always picking up wickets.
Drops up one a little shorter, clips into the ground, and Kemp there picks up a strong left arm throw of hers, just whips it in with real speed to Amy Jones with the helmet on, standing up to the stumps here with Eccleston wearing her sunglasses as she bowls, very mirrored sunglasses around the wicket. The long blonde head just sounds like a little bit shorter, and she's backed away to make some room and then forced out along the ground to head the Knight in the covers, but it sound like the cleanest of connections.
It's a risky shot, that, stepping outside leg stump. She's cut that off middle stump there. As Mealy Kerr.
Well, she's been happy to expose the stumps. Now, well, Eccleston go now. A little more flight this time, fuller delivery, drilled along the ground. Finds the fielder again, and safely fielded by Lindsay Smith. So here's 4 dot balls then for Sophie Eccleston.
And this is what England have done so well across the 2 previous games, is build pressure, bowl a few dot balls, get rid of your mid-wicket, happy to concede a couple of runs, back end of the over.
A little bit quicker, honing in, and isn't able to get this away. It's a Yorker length, right on bat and pad together on her toes. Excellent bowling. And Kerr at the moment doesn't have too many answers. Settles again over her bat. Kerr, white zinc on her cheeks, looks again, quicker from Eccleston, smeared along the ground behind square, beats the infield, racing away on this firm outfield, out for 4. So a boundary off the last ball of the over. That will please Mealy Kerr. That pressure was building from Sophie Eccleston. So New Zealand 27 for 1 after 5 overs. They've lost Susie Bates. She was out in the 3rd over. 7 for 1 at that point. So New Zealand looking to make a little bit of a recovery. Alex Hartley, a little bit more from you, and then Henry Moran's joining you.
Yeah, the last delivery, from Eccleston, just pace on, a little bit down the leg side. Mealy Kerr looking for that sweep shot. Looked a little bit inside edgy, but gets away with it. It's split square leg and short fine. And then New Zealand sort of needed that because they've been stop-starting. They've not managed to get the ball away. There's been too many dot balls for them in the power play again. They've managed to find the boundary every now and then. All right, Henners.
This is the room, Alex.
This is the famous room.
From the far end of the ground, Charlie Dean bowls, and a reverse sweep attempted and missed by Gaze, who's looking increasingly confident, I must say. If you're wondering what we're talking about, well, here in 2020 something, a few years ago.
What? During the Euros?
It was during the Euros. We were doing a game here, T20 I believe, against India. Swept hard, aerially, behind square. It's a nice looking shot, and this outfield does offer a little bit. There's work to do for Dunkley, who does brilliantly there. Down by that banker's seating with the oak tree behind, and down the hill as well. Dunkley has prevented the boundary, and the score moves to 29 for 1. And our television wasn't really working.
No, it wasn't. It was intermittent.
Very. Here is Charlie Dean, the England captain, in her sunglasses. And Bowser. Reverse sweep is attempted, and Charlie Dean gets through as England celebrate their second wicket of the power play, their second wicket of the game. Gaze, who was looking threatening with 17 off 13, has to go looking to play the inventive stroke, but in the end perishing. It's 29 for 2.
Yeah, Izzy Gaze looking for that reverse sweep. Charlie Dean keeping the stumps in play. Just, you've got to know as a batter, with Dean bowling down the hill, it's probably going to skid on a little bit more than it would from the other end, and it does exactly that. Hits the stumps. Charlie Dean, the skipper, gets the breakthrough. Only bowled the 1 over in the previous game, went for 14, and a much better comeback for her today.
Indeed, yeah. There's more reversing than watching me parallel park here so far around. So 29 for 2, 3 balls left of the power play as Devine comes to the middle, fresh from a quite fabulous innings in the last game. 87 off 57, strike rate of 148 in the series so far. But yes, it was this room, and TV intermittent, but it sort of worked when you whacked it.
Yeah.
But you were sick of having to whack it to get it working.
No, so there was a wire, so I thought if I...
No, there wasn't. It wasn't.
It was a button.
There was a big red button on a separate piece of equipment.
Yeah, but it looked like it was attached to the TV. So I sort of pulled that.
You didn't. You looked at me with a naughty expression like a toddler who knows that they shouldn't do something. And you pressed this red button and you took us off the radio.
Dead air it was for about 4 minutes.
Here's Charlie Dean bowling to Devine, who comes forward very confidently, pushing towards cover, and there is no...
Anyway, I like what you've done to protect the TV this time around, Henners. It's in a box, so I can't whack it, pull it, press it.
It's in a sort of hard box with foam around it, actually, just to really make sure. Here comes Charlie Dean again, and chipped up, but lands away from the England captain. It's a ground that does take turn more than most. Various theories about why: the sea breeze, the salty air, the drying conditions that come, and of course it has been a dry spring, and today is as bright it as has been all this time. As Devine can't get that ball away, trying to hack it through mid-wicket. She misses out, and just 2 from the over. Power play worth 29 for 2. You'd say it's advantage England.
Yeah, absolutely. Another, I'm going to call it a poor power play from New Zealand, but what they did in the previous game, they caught up extremely well, didn't they? Sophie Devine and Maddie Green were the only 2 batters to really do anything in the last game, so all eyes are going to be on Sophie Devine again, as there will be for the whole summer, with the T20 World Cup just around the corner.
Indeed. Now, if you want to get in touch with us today,
yes,
there are lots of ways to do so. You can join the conversation on the live text commentary on the BBC Sport website and app. That is always an absolute certainty for good conversation and your thoughts as well. Mike Peters looking after that.
I know our WhatsApp number off by heart.
I'm going to test you on that.
0330
yeah
1234.
No, incorrect.
0330.
No, this is just going to confuse
but
me.
It ends with 1826.
It does. 0330 123.
Oh, 123. I was one number out.
1826
Pardon?
Sorry, I'm now dealing purely in binary. 0330. Here comes Danny Gibson into the attack. It's a clip towards mid-wicket, and a little bit of a fumble from Charlie Dean, but they won't take the risk of the run. So if you want to WhatsApp us, just save this number in your phone. This is the number.
It's a really simple number to remember.
0330 123 1826. Or you can text old school 81111, or email tms@bbc.co.uk. Here is Danny Gibson, bangs it in short, it's in the air, straight to Maya Bouchier. The England fielder diving forward at mid-on, a third wicket falls and the pressure tells. And if she was disappointed with her shot at Canterbury, Mealy Kerr, she'll be mighty displeased with that one as well. It was an ugly cross-batted heave that just went in a gentle parabola straight to the hands, and safe hands they are as well, of England's Maya Bouchier. New Zealand rocking at 29 for 3.
Yeah, the ball potentially just climbing on Mealy Kerr more than she thought. It came off the toe end of the bat as she's looking to heave the ball into the leg side. But yeah, another soft dismissal for the New Zealand captain, who's been in tremendous form, but hasn't really managed to get going in this series.
So now the partnership comes together that did the damage in the last game, which saw England in all sorts of bother with the way that the innings changed so drastically. In fact, if it's Green, it is the partnership. If it's Halliday, it won't be. But it was Maddie Green and Sophie Devine who put on 159, record-breaking for the 5th wicket, and it was a phenomenal effort to change the game around entirely. And it is Halliday, so it isn't Maddie Green as yet. Halliday, who, for my money, has the best waiting to face a ball expression in the world game.
Just like, get on with it.
Just, come on. We're not here to mess about.
Proper resting face, like, come on, bowl the ball, I want to hit it for 4.
Danny Gibson's bustling medium pace over the wicket, and it's nicely angled towards backward point, where Lindsay Smith, who's an excellent fielder, really has enhanced England's fielding unit. She crouches down to pick up. We're midway through the 7th over. Win predictor currently has England at 90%.
Well, did they not win predictor not see the last game?
Yeah, but it takes it on probability, not certainty. Next delivery is full, dugout. That's going to go fizzing down towards deep third, where Izzy Wong is grazing in front of the flats at the Cromwell Road end. And, if we look at the way that the last few overs have gone, we've seen in the last couple just 2 runs scored. And that is England really drying things up nicely. Danny Gibson again. Again, it's just back of a length and pushed into the offside firmly by the right-handed Sophie Devine.
Even when she's playing a shot like that, she just looks a class above the other New Zealand batters.
It's funny, certain players just seem to hit the ball harder. That Siva Brunt would be one.
And just cleaner.
Ash Gardner, another.
Give me nightmares.
Final ball of the over. Gibson rushes in once more, and in the air, should be out, and it is! Sophie Devine's gone for a 5-ball duck. Sophie Eccleston with a catch at mid-off. And Danny Gibson gets 2 in the over. And if they weren't rocking before New Zealand, well, now they're in all sorts of bother, because the big hitter, the key batter, is making a sorrowful walk back towards the dugouts, knowing that having not repeated the trick of the last game, her side are really facing an uphill task.
A little bit outside edgy there from Sophie Devine. She can't do it time and time again. You know, she's done it in the first 2 games. She's carried this New Zealand batting attack, or batting lineup, sorry, and she's going to have to fail at some stage. And today she's failed. Everybody looks at her as she walks off the ground for a duck, and now it's all down to Maddie Green. And England in total control of this game with Mealy Kerr and Sophie Devine back in the hutch.
Well, it's the pressure that has been building. That is what has done it. And you've got to say credit to Danny Gibson, who bowls pretty much quite a simple method.
2 for 1.
Yeah, she bowls wicket to wicket, keeps it straight. Right, she's rather reluctantly going to put on some headphones. Here is Katie Martin, former New Zealand wicketkeeper. And she's just moving it alongside. Alex Hartley takes her leave for the time being, and in comes Charlie Dean round the wicket to bowl, and it's pushed by the left-handed Brooke Halliday up towards mid-on. Katie Martin, hello to you.
Afternoon. Yeah.
Is it a good afternoon, or it's not? It's not really for New Zealand, is it, so far?
We're at cricket, it's always a good afternoon, isn't it?
Well, that is very true. In comes Dean. Sweep attempted, and it'll go down towards the boundary in front of us, where Bouchier is waiting to move very quickly to her left, and limits it to just the one run. And England all action, all energy in the field, and doing a very good job at managing to put massive pressure on this New Zealand side.
They've just stuck to plan A, haven't they? I thought they adjusted that too quickly in that last T20. They've just backed themselves to create those dot balls against New Zealand's batters, and as what we've seen throughout this series, they've tried to force options that it may be a little bit more challenging. But you look up and you see all these England players in front of you and you think, where is my run going to be scored? That's how good England have been so far.
Charlie Dean once more, moving in over the wicket. And that's played with a very straight bat, confidently by Maddie Green, down the ground for a single. Now, what England have done well in this game, their spinners in particular, thank you to Srini, our stats guru, who says 46% of deliveries are hitting the stumps. In the second T20, it was at 33%. First game in Derby, it was at 48%. So England, with almost half their deliveries from spinners, forcing the shot. In comes Dean. And again, on the stumps, clipped into the leg side. That'll be stopped by Heather Knight, waiting at mid-wicket. What a scene in front of us, by the way. Not a cloud in the sky. Literally, it is pure blue.
I've never seen England people just so mentally crazed to go to the beach. There is trolls and trolls and trolls of people wandering down to Brighton Beach yesterday.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
The sun comes out.
Bank holiday weekend, perfect. Slapped back to the bowler by the left-handed Halliday. No run. It's an extraordinary part of British life that as soon as the sun starts shining, the mood lifts, the shirts come off.
Some probably could have stayed on.
Well, yes, perhaps. Dean round the wicket in the sunglasses. Oh, a big appeal for LBW. What are they saying? No. Dean is resting on her haunches, down on one knee, stroking her chin and having a word with Amy Jones.
Question here, coming around the wicket, Brooke Halliday looking to play across her front pad. They have gone up for it. Question here, is it going down leg? You talked about bowling straight. It's what Charlie Dean does so well. She always brings those stumps into play.
TV umpire to director. We have a player review for LBW, given not out on field. I've checked the feet. It's a fair delivery. We go front on, please.
It's always a benefit of the captain, isn't it? Being a bowler as well. Going down.
Okay, the ball's passing close to the back. Could we check with ultra edge, please?
She's got very deep. It's probably hit her, what, in line with leg stump, middle and leg stump. I think
through.
Probably just going down
all the
leg.
way through.
So in line with leg stump. Quite a fair way back on top of the knee roll. I'm going a nod out here.
All the way through to the pad.
Wide angle of release.
I think it might be umpire's call.
I'm satisfied there's no bat involved. Could we go to ball tracking when ready, please? Original decision is not out. Pitching in line, impact in line.
Oh!
Wickets hitting. Sue, I'm going to ask you to change your decision to out. Back on field, please.
5 down.
On screen now.
32 for 5. Halliday goes for just 2. And Charlie Dean strikes to give England a total control of this game that, frankly, it looked as though they were getting in the last match at Canterbury, but now you've got wickets seeming to tumble left, right and centre in a way that they weren't after that partnership started going and Sophie Devine started putting pressure on England. But she's gone. Halliday's now gone. Maddie Green is still there. But now we are starting to head down towards the tail end of this innings.
Yeah, this is a massive test to the lower order. What a great review from Charlie Dean. Just straightened as you saw it impact into that leg stump. I just think when you see her get her wickets, Charlie Dean, 80% of them are usually the bolder LBW. She has been that good and that accurate on the stumps.
Well, defeat for England in the last game ended an 8-match winning run against New Zealand in T20 internationals. A phase of time when it really felt like England were the dominant force in comparison to the world champions, let's not forget. But it feels like we're reverting to type a little bit here, Katie.
Yeah, this is like the New Zealand team of, 2024 in the first half, not the second half when they won that T20 World Cup. they've just been in control, England. They've been proactive against New Zealand players who you feel like are always sort of a ball behind the game.
Sophie Eccleston then, whose first over went for 4, just the one scoring shot from it. He's going to come round the wicket. It's dug out into the offside to the left of Heather Knight, out towards Lindsay Smith, who runs out in front of a stand that is, it rather resembles, it's a bit of a hodgepodge, the pavilion, but it rather resembles a lower league football ground from the 80s or 90s.
You like the stands at grounds, don't you? You're very
Love 'em.
observant on that.
I love them. It's got a sort of beautiful double-decker nature to it, stairs going up, the clock at the top. Dug out towards Eccleston. Crowd think it's a catch, but it's on the bounce.
When you see England at their very best, for me, it's when Charlie Dean and Sophie Eccleston bowl in tandem. They just create pressure from both ends.
Eccleston again. Once more, no run. It goes towards mid-off.
When you look at New Zealand batters, every batter is just looking to play the ball. There's not a real intent, apart from Maddie Green, where she's opened her hands to be able to get a single through the covers. At the moment, it's just hit it to the fielders, hit it to the fielders.
Oh, goes right through her. Sharp's gone without scoring. Sophie Eccleston strikes. New Zealand in tatters. And this beautiful day here on the south coast is one that England are enjoying far more than their visitors from overseas. These spectators are going to have to go down to that beach to find something to do this afternoon at this rate. It was a horrible shot, trying to create something to the right-hander, and it just scuttled on through and into middle and off to see New Zealand 33 for 6.
Arm ball from Sophie Eccleston, really difficult to pick up with how fast her bowling action naturally is. Izzy Sharp, who's a hockey player so loves to hit square of the wicket, thought that it was shorter than it was, but because of the arm ball and the pace, it was a lot fuller. She went back, looking to cut through that backward point area, straight through hitting leg stump. She's so hard to pick up those cues, Sophie Eccleston. Almost wonder just that one game off with that quad issue, just to give her a bit of a break, a bit of a refresher.
Yep.
Also shows you can get Sophie Devine out of this batting lineup. Bowlers can get a little bit more control. I love to know after a couple of dot balls where there's been a boundary or whether there's been a wicket, because it just, you get that sense, a couple of dot balls and forced options from these New Zealand batters.
So Jess Kerr to the middle as Eccleston is in, played into the offside, no run. In the last 4 overs, including this one with a ball left of it, New Zealand have scored 6 runs and lost 5 wickets.
Wow. Call that a collapse, don't you?
Little bit. Eccleston, very watchfully played by Kerr, back up the track. And what a good over that is from Sophie Eccleston, who takes her cap from umpire Jacqueline Williams. And New Zealand have got to find a way of just getting somewhere in this game.
I'm going to take you inside of what Maddie Green will be feeling right now, because I can watch her out there and I see the shoulders slightly dropped, her head down. There's this inner bubbling of frustration that happens when you see players at the other end play shots that maybe they could have had better options at. And I think when you then, as a middle order batter, are batting with the lower order, you know that there's a lot of responsibility on you. You get caught in between that mindset of, well, I know we need to score runs, but if it's a too high a risk option and I'm not there in the last few overs, we're not going to be able to get us a score. So it's her responsibility just to get that attitude right, to be able to say, look, I've just got to bat for the next, 10 overs, be there in the last over. Jess Kerr, she's done a lot of work on her batting. Both these players are batted together for the Wellington Blaze as well. But don't let that frustration seep into the way that you're playing.
Izzy Wong back into the attack. 3rd over for her. They're going to push hard for a run, and it's a well-taken run as well. And though Freya Kemp goes diving forward, running in from cover point, in the end she actually didn't pick up the ball. She sort of rather ran past it.
Well, you call that the scorpion. Do you know what that is? Where you dive,
Yeah.
and then your body doesn't really slide on the ground, and then next thing you know, your legs are getting rotated back past you.
Sort of over the handlebars.
Yeah, so you
almost.
call it a scorpion.
Right, yes. A bit like Rene Higuita, the former Colombia goalkeeper in 1996. Right, here comes Izzy Wong. And that's nicely struck by Kerr, square of the wicket, out towards the deep, where Bouchier will field on the offside, 35 for 6. A very famous clip, against England, where the goalkeeper did a scorpion kick.
The old bet. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah. He was a bit of a maverick, old Rene. One of those Wikipedia pages that has a fair amount more to it than just a footballing career, put it that way.
Who writes those pages, though?
In comes Izzy Wong. It's a delivery that is just back of a length, and one run will be taken. Relative riches in the over for New Zealand. 35 for 6 becomes 36 for 6.
Just talking about Jess Kerr's little cassette tape where she gets her insulin injection. It's just she's run down as it's flying at the back of her, like the microphone pack at the back fell out as she was running down. Very expensive if that had fallen off. That's tough, isn't it, managing diabetes?
Very much so. In comes Wong. Well bowled. It beats the edge of the bat of Jess Kerr and goes through to Amy Jones. 2 balls left at the over. We've had an email. Mark Morley. What's going off? Pop out for 30 minutes. Come back and New Zealand are 6 down.
Well, Mark, if you can stay around for a bit longer, New Zealand might get to 100. I said might.
Good luck.
Oh, come on, Henry.
They might.
There's always a partnership built in T20 cricket.
Always. You're right. You've seen enough of it. You are right. Pulled away brutally, but straight to the hands of the perfectly positioned Sophia Dunkley, out in front of that old football stand type arrangement near the indoor school. Yeah, it's a difficult position to be in, to put it mildly, but it's a difficult position, not just context of the match, but just how you approach it.
I think we were a bit confused in the toss in the last game. Obviously, Sophie Eccleston out with a quad issue, and then Charlie Dean said that she thought maybe this was her best bowling lineup on that surface. Eccleston every day of the week in every team.
Forward in defence comes Green, and the over comes to an end. Midway point in the innings. Drinks will be taken. England will be enjoying them more than New Zealand, no question about that, because New Zealand are 37 for 6 at the 10 over mark, having won the toss, elected to bat first. And since the 5th over, they have scored how many runs? Let's have a look at this. 10 runs and lost 5 wickets. Not ideal. Right, Alison Mitchell is standing by to take up commentary alongside you, Katie Martin, as we look at this glorious scene in front of us. Ali, it gets no better than this, eh?
It is one of my favourite places to come and watch cricket and commentate cricket on a sunny day. And it's almost as if you could just wander off at the close of play and have a dip in the sea.
You always look up at a crowd like this, and we said that in the last game when New Zealand were 11 for 4. Oh, it's a shame that New Zealand, they're in this position to be great for the crowd to see a great game, and they've turned up. I think maybe today they're like, we don't mind a short game here to be able to get a good amount of cricket in. England dominating, and then get down to the seaside for a couple of hours and then head home.
Well, there's usually an ice cream van that does a very good trade parked around the back of these stands, so I'm sure it's here today. There's probably a number of them, I reckon.
What's your go-to?
Oh, I would always be I'm a good classic cone with a flake.
You're not a straight vanilla, are you? Oh, I could actually imagine you'd be vanilla. Like, what about some 100,000s?
Oh, a bit of chocolate sauce, but none of that strawberry artificial sauce. No. What's your go-to? I mean, a Magnum. If there's other ice creams are available, but
I don't like ice cream. I like the thought of it, and then I eat it, and then I regret it after because it's not. I just don't find it as satisfying. But I do like 100,000s.
Okay.
I'll be a little child like that.
What is a winner is a twister, because then you get your combination of a bit of icy pole on the outside and ice cream on the... There you go. Well, England are breaking away from the huddle. They've all had a drinks break. They might have had a few icy poles perhaps out there to keep them cool in the heat. But yeah, they've bowled superbly and kept the pressure on New Zealand right from the start. What happens with the Susie Bates combination at the top, because that hasn't really answered any questions, because Bates came in, was out cheaply for 3, Izzy Gay still. Nobody's really made a big contribution of any note yet today. So whether you can take much out of that and you just plough on to your warm-up matches for the World Cup, but they've still got bowling innings to come.
Yeah, I think there's one player that we probably haven't talked much about, and that's Brooke Halliday for me. There's a real emphasis around having a left-hander in a batting lineup, and I think over the last few years she's averaged under 10, striking under 100 as well. So that's where I think the experience of her, who hasn't stepped up for a long period of time for New Zealand in T20 cricket. I think one day is a different story. You feel like she batted a lot of the deliveries to fielders, and that's probably been a common theme from a number of New Zealanders. Yeah. So I think there's certain positions in this side that there is some question marks around.
We're ready to continue again. The 11th over, Eccleston from around the wicket, patted back down the pitch to her by Jess Kerr, who rehearses the stroke, didn't really time it. So Bouchier is in front of us at long on. 2 fielders out in the deep on the mid-wicket boundary. Deep cover out on the rope as well. Smeared pulled across the line low. A sliding stop in the deep by Danny Gibson, moving across to her right-hand side from a sort of cow corner position. And New Zealand 38 for 6.
I look at this from England, I feel like this is the blueprint on how they've been so successful in T20 cricket for such a long period of time. You think the 3 spin options that they typically had through the middle.
Eccleston, a whirl of arms, slows that one right down, eased along the ground to mid-off. Fielded cleanly by Charlie Dean, no run taken.
So now you've got a Lindsay Smith as effectively in replace of a Sarah Glenn. She's actually your opening bowler, so she's effectively the likes of a seam bowler for that England lineup. But when you have Eccleston and Dean through the middle, it creates so much pressure, and I think they get the best out of each other in a pairing.
Eccleston flights this one outside the off stump, driven along the ground out to the deep, another single added. Yeah, they bring such control, don't they? And yet the wicket-taking ability with that, it's a potent combination.
Well, there was stats that Eccleston had less wickets than Charlie Dean, but was more economical. So teams looked to target Charlie Dean, but she was picking up the wickets.
Quicker this time from Eccleston, driven back up the pitch, and Eccleston got 2 hands to it. Didn't pick it up cleanly, but saved any single dot ball.
So Eccleston was being really economical at one end, and teams said, right, we're going to go after Charlie Dean. While she was expensive at times, she was expensive but picked up wickets.
Yeah. Kerr gets another quicker one, defends from the crease. Eccleston tumbling in the take to her right-hand side. Another dot ball, so keeping that pressure on. 2 singles in that over is all New Zealand could manage. 39 for 6, Kerr on 3, Maddie Green on 5, and we've had 11 overs now of this New Zealand innings. And just to recap briefly, Susie Bates promoted up to the top of the order. No Georgia Plimmer after she'd made 2 golden ducks, but Bates was out for just 3. Attempted a reverse sweep and hit it aerially straight to points where Sophia Dunkley took the catch low down. That was 7 for 1. Izzy Gaze was bowled by Charlie Dean for 17, 29 for 2. Followed quickly by Mealy Kerr, caught by Bouchier off Gibson. That was 29 for 3. Sophie Devine out for a 5-ball duck. That was a huge wicket given the way she's been batting and how she really climbed into England's bowlers to rescue them in that last match. She lofted a drive straight to Sophie Eccleston. Brooke Halliday, LBW Dean for 2, and then Izzy Sharp bowled by Eccleston without scoring. So the return of Lindsay Smith here from around the wicket, a change of ends as well, and Green has driven it, eased it back down past the bowler, 3/4 of the way back to the boundary. He's able to pick up 1.
I think look at this option that they've gone with Lindsay Smith here, and I felt in the last game they went defensively too quick, but they probably looked to use bowlers to get experience. Whereas when I saw Charlotte Edwards sprinting out to see them at the drinks, this might be a let's dominate and close the game, that mentality.
Yeah, bring back their key opener. A little bit flatter this time from Smith. Out through the cover region, able to pick up 1 to Bouchier in the deep. Well, England probably need an element of ruthlessness coming into a World Cup, is particularly from what happened in the last game. If you've got yourself on top of a team, keep going, keep hammering them down.
It's a fine balance, isn't it, in a bilateral series leading into a World Cup?
Smith around the wicket, driven again along the ground, finds extra cover though, and no run. Yeah, you have got that bit of latitude, haven't you, for experimenting.
I think we're sort of there's so many world events now, like every year there's either a World Cup or a Champions Trophy. Which we're expected to have middle of next year. So then you're probably seeing it more in the men's game. You're sort of seeing A teams in those bilateral series. So in the women's game, it's constantly saying, yes, there's the championship points set up for grabs, but before a World Cup, it is that experiment.
Smith into Green, flatter again. Green defensive this time, back into the hands of Smith, no run.
Then you look at that India series that England have after that. Is it a fine line between balancing the players and how much they're going to be on the road versus are you saying, look, we want to go in there with the winning mentality, that we've got some momentum leading into that World Cup?
Ideally, you can have a bit of both is what they would want, isn't it? Lighted a bit more by Smith, finding the gap on the onside this time is Green along the ground, works it to Freya Kemp and taking one. So yeah, resting Lauren Bell today, but still getting on top in their bowling innings, as at the moment working out just as England would have hoped, but they have got to try and make sure they ram home this advantage. Kerr waits, bat poised in the air as Smith moves in, full of delivery and driven to extra cover along the ground. Another dot ball to end the over from Lindsay Smith. 3 singles from it. Bit of frustration from Jess Kerr looking up towards the sky. 42 for 6 after 12 overs now. Interested to know from you, Kate, as well, what you've made of Charlie Dean's captaincy through this series, because she wouldn't have been expecting it. She came into the ODIs when Nat Sciver-Brunt was injured. What have you made of the way she leads the side and goes about her business?
I think she's a very intelligent player. I think she's very proactive in the way that she goes about it. There's a lot of clarity. I know, talking to Charlotte Edwards a few years ago around leadership and succession, she said that Charlie Dean is someone that maybe was underrated. And I know there were conversations had when Charlotte first came into that coaching gig. She just looks like she's got some nice confidence about her, and you see the odd conversations with Heather Knight as well. That still trust that she's got those senior players around her. Interesting, no Freya Kemp bowling yet for England.
Yes, Danny Gibson is returning for what is her second over, but we're yet to see Kemp. Over the week she goes a little bit back of her length, chopped into the ground, and Lindsay Smith is there at backward point, no run.
It was amazing. I was actually telling Alex a story yesterday. In New Zealand a couple of years ago, Charlie Dean, her batting has been unbelievable. Like, she's had those match-winning partnerships for so long. And she actually really adjusted her batting technique, and she modelled it on Danny White-Hodge.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been effective. Over the wickets, eased out towards the offside, out to cover. And another one taken. I find her so calm
very
at the crease. I mean, we saw it, didn't we, early in the series when she's there to hit winning runs and a winning partnership. She just has such a collected head.
Yeah.
Seems to have great clarity in the middle, whether she's in the field captaincy or with the bat, in a tight run chase.
I think the Ashes, and I think probably most of them were in that position where she wasn't as calm as I've seen her.
Gibson, and again, looks to flick it down the leg side, misses, dribbles off her body to be picked up by Amy Jones, no run.
There's the closing out her batting. She said, I said, well, how did you go about it? And she said, I'd stood in the mirror at my Christmas break, which is funny enough in herself, and she cradled her arms together, so she worked on her action of trying to get her shoulders in line like she was cradling a baby. So I said, you spent all Christmas in the mirror? And she said, yes.
Well, if that's what it takes. Worked across the line here by Kerr, beats the infield. They won't get two, just the one. Picked up in the deep. Throw back into Gibson.
I think she has elongated that England batting lineup. I mean, you've got Eccleston that can create that power game, but I think she just adds some stability when England are in that position. And I think you look at this series, Amy Jones has hardly really had an opportunity with the bat. She did in the last game, but it was really, the game was in a challenging situation for her to have to come out and bat. So I think, especially in ODI cricket, she really elongates that batting lineup.
Dean directing traffic here has put 3 out on the boundary on the leg side here, so there's acres of space. Back up the pitch though here for the delivery from Gibson, and again Green's not able to get the ball away.
When you've looked at this series and this England lineup, the thing we've talked about is where the selections are in terms of England's 11. And I think when you look at a capsy, assuming that Nat Sciver-Brunt comes back in, you look at a capsy, a Gibson and a Freya Kemp, I think you can only probably select 2 out of those 3 players in the 11.
Here's Gibson in full, lofted. Will it get over the infield? Yep, comfortably for 4. And that's a release shot that New Zealand badly need. They need a few more of those, however. But it does move the New Zealand score on. Boundary off the bowling of Gibson. Green on to 12. New Zealand 48 for 6 after 13 overs now.
Just a bit over pitch from Danny Gibson, looking to try and close out the over with a Yorker by the looks of it. Just shows that mentality of Maddie Green to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if the ball's in my area, I'm still going to back myself to hit it and not get bogged down. I think that's been the point of difference with Green's batting over the last couple of years, is just be able to be a lot more instinctive and react.
So 48 for 6 at the end of that over. Charlie Dean about to continue. I keep the emails coming in, by the way. tms@bbc.co.uk as Dean moves in. Smacked over the top of short mid-wicket this time. Another 4 off the first ball of the over this time from Jess Kerr. So back-to-back boundaries, albeit off different bowlers. Just what New Zealand need. They bring up their 50. It's come, though, in the 14th over.
Maybe the conversation in the middle is who's our match-up bowler, who's someone we think we can target. Jess Kerr's worked a lot on her batting. We're looking for that bowling around-her at number 8, and she's claimed that spot.
Dean with her sunglasses on, over the wicket, lofted safely through the vacant mid-off region out to the deep. Freya Kemp's there to field. Another one taken. An email in here from Nick and Wendy, who are in sunny Dursley in Gloucestershire. They're listening to us. So listening to the cricket. Come on, England, keep it going, they say.
Come on, England. See how it goes.
England are hoping they're going to keep it going. Charlie Dean is looking to keep some pressure on here, but so far 5 off the first 2 balls of the over. Hooked across the line again, but there's protection on the boundary on that leg side. Square of the wicket on Maddie Green. Another single taken though, 54 for 6 in this 14th over.
Who are you then picking out of those 3? If you could only pick 2 of them. Oh,
well,
here.
Are you assuming that Natsova Brunt is coming back?
Yes.
And Danny Wyatt is coming back? And you just feel you've got to play Capsy. I feel that she's really grown, sort of developed a lot in recent months. Dean in, hipped into mid-wicket along the ground, running quickly for the first. Will they get 2? They think about 2, but good fielding, running in from the deep to make sure New Zealand were kept to 1. 55 for 6 they are now in this 14th over. So therefore, oh gosh, it's Kemp or Gibson, isn't it? Do you want the left arm option of Kemp? But we're not seeing her bowl here, so is that, I guess, then leaning toward Danny Gibson?
The only question on her bowling might be the fact that because she's being managed back into her bowling, they've decided because there's only 1 day in between.
Just give her a breather this match.
I think Charlotte loves left-handers. I think they will go for Kemp above Gibson.
Around the wicket here. Green, a little tickle into the leg side. Dean's doing her own fielding, a slide stop and a throw at the stumps at the non-striker's end. Misses. Green might have been home anyway. A good sharp bit of fielding nonetheless. Well, it's great to have the variety, isn't it? Have a left-hander in the side. And England have had precious few in recent times. And Freya Kemp's had all those injuries, so while she's, if you like, being discovered, she was blooded and then, hasn't been able to play as much as she would have liked. Dean moves in again, gives this one a little bit more air. Single being taken here into the covers. The underarm throw. Has she got home? I think she has, yes. So the throw was tight in over the stumps, and Dean was right at the stumps to flick off the bails. And Bouchier, who flicked that ball in, has her hands on her head as if to say, well, I was very, very close. But end of the over, 57 for 6 is New Zealand's score. Now it's from square on. How close was she? Yeah, she was comfortably home in the end, but Dean gathering the ball in front of the stumps and then swivelling to dislodge the bails. 14 overs gone. New Zealand are 57 for 6. Katie Martin has handed the microphone to Alex Hartley. Welcome back, Alex.
Well, it's all going England's way, isn't it?
It's a bit of flurry of wickets, wasn't it? 2 in 1 over from Danny Gibson. Big wicket of Sophie Devine. At that point, we saw the delight on England's face. I think everybody in the ground knew what a big moment that was. Gibson's got figures of 2 for 7 from the 2 overs she's bowled so far. Drilled along the ground, straight to Dean at mid-off. No run. See, England are moving in the field well. There's a good buzz in the field. And keep that energy up whenever a throw is coming into the stumps or into the keeper. You can see 2 other fielders moving into backup. It's just that all-round field coordination. Kerr on 12 off 18. Waits as Gibson is in with Jones standing up, clipped through the vacant mid-wicket region, taking 1. Bouchier moves in off the boundary to pick up. Throw comes back in, 58 for 6 in this 15th over.
Yeah, everybody knows where they need to be, don't they, in this situation for England. Charlie Dean manipulating the field every couple of balls, but England's so on top. They've been brilliant today, keeping the stumps in play, forcing New Zealand to try and play down the ground.
Green waits, Gibson bustles in, gives her a short ball. This is hiked up high in the air. Now could be a running catch here for Bouchier, and she does well, takes it, holds on securely. She was running in and then she was running to her left. She was on the move as she took it, but it was a skyer, and she's taken it securely. So the 7th wicket falls in the 15th over. Green's gone for 14. 58 for 6 in the 15th over.
Yeah, another soft dismissal for New Zealand. Maddie Green looking to go down the ground, chips it to Maya Bouchier, who takes a pretty simple catch. Well bowled from Danny Gibson, a short ball into the surface. She's not the quickest of bowler, but she can get nice bounce and nice carry, and that's exactly what's happened there. And Maya Bouchier taking a pretty simple catch in the deep, and England breaking this partnership when New Zealand really could have done with these two staying at the crease until 18th, 19th over, really.
She looked delighted to hold on. There's been that many misfields and drop catches over time for England that I think any running catch in particular like that, you'd think she's done well to hold it, and she's only gave it the little fist pump, but she looked pretty calm and took it with great aplomb. Nancy Patel comes out, played her first match of this T20 series in Canterbury, joins Jess Coase on 13. So, I mean, 3 wickets left. Can New Zealand see out the rest of the innings? Because that would be that would really be it's criminal, isn't it, if you can't see out the 20 overs. Sets herself for the scoop. First ball from Gibson to Nancy Patel in the 15th over. Another 5 to come after this.
Well, she can bat, Patel. She bats at 4 for Northern, her district side in New Zealand. So she isn't a rabbit with the bat.
Gibson turns end of her mark. Very short of stature there. She's standing in front of the stumps with Amy Jones behind her. Jones now bobs down, goes for a pull shot. Has found the gap, squeezing it past Bouchier. That ball climbs on her quickly. And she's 3 for 1 and off the mark. 59 for 7. One more ball to come from here from Gibson in this 15th over.
Such a beautiful day. It's such a shame it's not been a great game of cricket for all the fans. That first ball, by the way, the gloves behind.
Not picked up by anybody. Nope. I'm just seeing that on a replay now. She really extended those arms and little glove. Along the ground up to Eccleston at mid-off, no run taken. And that's the end of the over. So 15 gone. New Zealand in a pretty dismal situation at 59 for 7, and they're going to have to do something incredible with the ball in their innings. But it's very different, isn't it, chasing when you know what your target is, and if it's a low target, England will be able to bat along without needing to take too many risks. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they're not going to get 10 and over here, are they, New Zealand? So it's, can they try and get 6 and over? I mean, a poor performance for New Zealand in a series decider leading into a World Cup so far. But it does just show how much they have relied on the experience of Maddie Green in the one-dayers as well. But then Sophie Devine coming back into their team for the T20s.
Yeah, at the moment, they're not playing like a team who are world champions. Smith continuing to be her last over. Full worked into the onside by Patel, who isn't able to get it past Charlie Dean. So Smith, 1 wicket so far. Got Susie Bates in the 3rd over, the first wicket to fall. Smith in, flights it a little bit more, driven along the ground to extra cover. One-handed pick-up by Heather Knight. Nonchalantly as you like, sends it back into Amy Jones. See a few blue seats down at the far end where people might just be having a stroll or looking to find a little bit of shade or heading to buy a cooling drink. Such a warm day.
Scorchio out there.
I felt like a little bit of shade when I got out the car. Shade, a little bit of breeze. Felt like the flags on top of the scoreboard by the clock are absolutely cracking the flags. They are blowing in a steady breeze. A bit flatter, lofted, straight back down the ground for 4 towards the sight screen. No danger there. And Jessica moves the score along. 64 for 7. How many more boundaries can New Zealand manage to find in these last 5 overs? We're into the 16th.
It feels like a safer shot against Lindsay Smith, hitting the ball back down the ground rather than the cross-batted shots.
Smith moves in. Little square this time, out through the cover region. Bouchier moves in from the boundary. Kerr takes a gentle single. She's on to 18. New Zealand 65 for 7. 2 more balls to come then from Smith. Dark sunglasses on, white smear of zinc across her cheeks, around the wicket, flatter, shorter, gets in a real tangle, struck on the body and given. Another one for Lindsay Smith, a real round arm action from around the wicket, low trajectory, and Nancy Patel's on her way for just 2. New Zealand 65 for 8 now in the 16th over.
I'm not even going to bother reviewing it, even though they've got 2 reviews left, but another cross-batted shot against Lindsay Smith brings the wicket, brings her second of the innings, looking for the sweep shot into the leg side, flatter, quicker. It's hit her in the belly. It's definitely worth going upstairs and having a look. Potentially might have hit her outside the line. But it's been given out on field.
Is that a bit of inexperience, just walking off when you've got the review available? And Nancy Patel hasn't played much international cricket
I would definitely have used it with 2 in the tank. Tank or bank?
Well, either. I think either works. The bank is the tank. But Patel's gone. Lindsay Smith 2 for 15 now, with 1 more ball to come out of her 4 overs. And England, again, talk about the ruthlessness. They want to cut this innings short. They do not want New Zealand to get the chance to even use their full quota of 20 overs. And they've got every likelihood of doing that now. So Jessica remains there, 18 from 22. Rosemary Mayer back in the side today has come out, and it's just Brie Illing to come for New Zealand. Chopped into the ground, it balloons out towards the cover region, and I thought there might have been a single there, but Jessica quite rightly headed back. Well, end of the wicket taking over from Lindsay Smith. Just 2 wickets remaining for New Zealand. England got on top early and they've stayed on top. 65 for 8 with 4 overs to come. Alex Hartley, Henry Moran's coming back in to join you.
It's been brilliant from England, obviously, in the previous game, having New Zealand 11 for 4 and then that 150-run partnership between Maddie Green and Sophie Devine. England haven't allowed that to happen today. They've picked up consistent wickets throughout. We spoke about, Henry, the fact that New Zealand have got to get better against spin, and the spin have done the damage today.
Well, yeah, and it's that targeting of the stumps, impact outside, by the way.
I said so.
Yeah, well, you're a good umpire, Al. I've been saying this for years. I think you'd make an excellent umpire. Here is Eccleston. Very nearly gets through. How's that missed? Jess Kerr looking to chop down on it, and the arm ball again from Sophie Eccleston, nearly doing the damage.
She's so strong through the offside, Jess Kerr. That's her strength. That's where she wants to look.
Next delivery from Eccleston is back towards her. It's in the air. Oh, goodness me, that's some good fielding. And double whammy. Brilliant fielding, brilliant throw. England captain Charlie Dean leading by example in a big way. That was really impressive at mid-off, I have to say. Yeah,
they've been good today, England. They've kept the standards really high in the field with the ball. Charlie Dean there, brilliant bit of fielding, but Jessica was back.
I shouldn't have bothered. Here it comes. I mean, it is interesting, isn't it? You see the difference in England's fielding is night and day compared to 12 months ago, 18 months ago. Eccleston bowls and hacks towards long on for probably just the 1 run. It will be.
Well, I actually think the difference between that first ODI up at Durham and then today, the previous T20 game, their standards have just been higher. And obviously there's still going to be mistakes, but they are setting themselves to a higher standard in the field.
Eccleston again, round the wicket with the left arm spin. A lot of flight on this occasion, and Amy Jones juggles the ball as it goes past a, let's put it this way, expansive stroke from Jess Kerr. Eccleston again wheels that arm round and in that familiar way delivers the next ball out towards extra cover. Throw comes in, almost hits the stumps from Heather Knight. Had it done so, there was trouble. It is just a single. I mean, they need 100 here, don't they? They've got to get 100.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, England are going to
They're not going to get 100 though, Henry.
Gobble it up. No, they're not, I know.
It's been such a shame. Series decider.
Eccleston round the wicket and down the leg side. That'll be wide. Well, it has been, hasn't it? It's been a real disappointment. Not least because I was really up for a good tight contest.
Yeah, me too. Might be home by 10.
Here is Eccleston. And it's a quicker ball again. It beats the bat of Mayer. It's too good for her. And Sophie Eccleston finishes with fabulous figures. 4 overs, 1 for 11.
Yeah, what a comeback from Eccleston after going at over 10 runs and over in that first T20 at Derby. Not playing the second one and then 1 for 11 today. A brilliant comeback for her. And a brilliant comeback for England, actually, having lost a game they probably should have been in more control the second T20. So to be able to bounce back in the manner that they have has been exceptional. Obviously they haven't won yet, but I'd be surprised if they didn't.
It does feel that the game is probably theirs, I think it's fair to say. The score stands at 69 for 8. We've got 3 overs left in the innings. Just looking at the scorecard, Al, I mean, only one New Zealand player has been hitting at a strike rate in triple figures, and that was Izzy Gaze way back when. Everyone else has been right down. Here comes Izzy Wong. And a slower ball as Boulder. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful bowling. How clever, how sneaky, how well disguised. And it's not just the spinners getting in on the act. Izzy Wong strikes with the sort of delivery that you spend hours and hours practicing. Out of the back of the hand. The shot was wild. Leg stump hit back. And England have got New Zealand at 69 for 9.
Well disguised from Izzy Wong. A brilliant delivery. As you say, Henry, back of the hand. Jessica's through the shot before the ball even gets to her. It's an ugly hack across the line. Another cross-batted shot for the New Zealand batters today. Another wicket falls to a pretty honking shot.
20 off 27. It's 69 for 8. 69 for 9, forgive me. As Bree Illing will come and join the action at a time where New Zealand are looking desperate, I'm afraid. They really are. It's not been a good performance from the tourists, who have just struggled to get going at any moment, really. And you'll be able to see that on the highlights in the red button.
Kate Martin is one of the best people to work with. She's always helping everybody out and she's not in it for herself. She's just written me a note that says, Brooke. What does that say?
Never scored a T20 50.
Never scored a T20 50. Thank you.
There you go. It's interesting.
It's a hard read.
Round the wicket, Izzy Wong to bowl to the left-handed Bree Illing, and again it's that back of a hand slower ball. Illing waits cautiously and nudges into the onside for 1.
She actually said yesterday, Katie, that she loves a notebook, and she said, handwriting's not very neat, so I need to. And I was like, it's not that bad. That was that bad.
But someone that wicket keeps, I think you can forgive that, because yeah, your hands.
What, are they notorious for bad handwriting?
No, because the hands get all gnarly, don't they?
Yeah, broken fingers galore.
You see, I got a wonky finger on my right hand, and that stops me writing neatly. Full delivery down the leg side, and hit something on its way through to Amy Jones, but it was quicker from Izzy Wong on that occasion.
Just to show me a left index finger which points the opposite direction.
It does. I mean, you'd make a great umpire just for that, because you wouldn't know if you were giving somebody out or pointing to something over.
Pointing at square leg.
Pointing at square leg, I know. 70 for 9 here in the sunshine of Hove. From the Cromwell Road end of the ground with the nets behind, in comes Izzy Wong. And drilled down the ground from Rosemary Mayer for a single. Oh, a bit of a fumble, and there won't be a second run because I don't think New Zealand anticipated that from Freya Kemp. 71 for 9. Well, I think Charlotte Edwards will be delighted with what she's seen so far.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's been a good comeback, hasn't it, from a disappointing loss just a couple of days ago.
Izzy Wong again. Runs in from the far end of the ground and bangs this in, and it goes down the leg side. Beats the dive of Amy Jones, who was a little slow on it, I have to say. And leg buys are signalled. It did bounce very, very low and quickly past her, but she just seemed to fall in stages, the England keeper. 75 for 9.
Just a little bit leg side from Izzy Wong there, going pace on, trying to cramp Illing for room. She does cramp her, but she manages to sway out of the way.
Izzy Wong runs in once more. 75 for 9 New Zealand score. That's tickled towards short fine leg by number 11 Bree Illing, who plays a shoveling sort of shot that a number 11 would play, really. Izzy Wong's finished her 4 overs, 1 for 20. She's bowled very nicely indeed, as all of England's bowling lineup have done. Lindsay Smith probably the pick of them with 4 overs, 2 for 15. you could make a case for quite a lot of the England contributions. Danny Gibson, not least, with 3 overs, 3 for 9.
Tanya was making me nervous there, Henry. Our engineer, she was rooting around the back of that TV that's notorious for taking us off air.
She knows what she's doing, though, Al. I think is the difference. I think I trust her a little bit more than I trust you with the technology. Not that I don't love you dearly, and you have many skills, including the incredible ability to remember lyrics to things.
Yeah, I'm very good at that.
Very good at that. Here's Danny Gibson. She get another wicket. It's a short ball which is pulled up towards Bouchier, who runs in front of us from the long-on boundary. She probably can hear us, Maya Bouchier, if she listens carefully. And actually, she's had enough of our chat because she's now going out towards long off.
Well, long on for the left-hander.
Oh, it is indeed. Forgive me. Yeah, you're very good at correcting me and not making me feel too silly. So there's that too. I mean, you won a World Cup.
Cut the cord. It was a long time ago.
9 years ago. Nicely played with a straight bat from Illing, who's looked as competent as anyone, actually, during this performance so far. And 1 run taken up towards Bouchier, who she'll run round now because it's the right hand.
Yeah, nice.
Right. 77 for 9, New Zealand. We'll, during the interval, be going through with you and Katie.
Oh, will we?
Yeah.
Good.
Talking what we talked about over coffee earlier. 11s, starting 11s for the World Cup. Whacked across the line by Mayer, and another single will be added, 78 for 9.
I better start thinking about me starting 11s.
I think you probably had, yeah. Highlights available as we go on the BBC Sport website and app, by the way, so do have a little look at those.
If you're a New Zealand fan, I won't bother.
Well,
low lights.
Yeah, there's a sort of macabre fascination, though, isn't there?
If you're an England fan, watch them on repeat.
Score stands at 7-8-9. It's a rare score in cricket. As Gibson bowls, a quick delivery with the keeper standing up to the stumps, and a play and a miss from Illing. The crowd enjoy that and applaud it. We've had a nice time out in the sun today. The old ice cream van is doing a roaring train.
Oh, it must be.
In comes Gibson again. 2 balls left of her excellent spell. It's short down the leg side. That'll be a wide, just slightly hurting the figures, which stand at 3 for 13 with 2 balls left of her 4 overs. 13 dots in that time out.
Yeah, she's bowled really nicely, hasn't she? Danny Gibson, creative pressure. Just a change-up. She's getting lovely carry up the hill.
Pushes off again. Approach of about a dozen paces. And Illing gets in a right old tangle and plays it straight back towards Danny Gibson.
Tell you what I used to hate.
Go on.
I used to hate bowling at tail-enders.
Why
They've
that?
got this, like, really... They're obviously not great batters, that's hence why they're down the order. I can say that because I was number 11 myself. I'm allowed to. Awful techniques, but they're so hard to get out.
Yeah. I mean, England's test side in the men's arena have found that for years. They just don't seem to know what to do. Danny Gibson bowls again. There'll be 1 taken to mid-wicket, and Gibson finishes 4 overs, 3 for 14. Talk me through what has made her so effective today, Alex.
Yeah, I think just what I was saying a minute ago, a carry up the hill. She's bowled a short ball really nicely. She's mixed her pace up. She's got back of her length full. She's just been really in control. And look, there's been some soft dismissals in that, but England have created the pressure for New Zealand to have to play those shots down the ground. It's a fantastic bowling spell for Danny Gibson. Only go for 14 runs in your 4 overs is, no matter the score is, and pick up 3 wickets, pretty remarkable.
It's a very good effort, isn't it? Well, it looks as though New Zealand might make it through to the end of the 20th over. They've got 1 more to face, and that comes from Charlie Dean. She's picked up 2 for 13. She'll be bowling to the number 11, Bree Illing.
He's bowled a little bit more consistently today, Charlie Dean. Better lengths. Obviously, Sophie Devine not at the crease helps.
Dean in the sunglasses, round the wicket. Oh, I think that's out it is. There's the edge. There's the take from Amy Jones. And there goes the finger raised high up by Sue Redfern. And it is a job very well done from England. Charlie Dean finishes 3 for 13. and quite rightly gets lots of high fives and hugs from teammates, because New Zealand are all out for 80.
Yeah, brilliant from England. Charlie Dean there, just outside the off stump. Just turns away from the left-hander ever so slightly, does enough, holds its line. A simple catch behind the stumps for Amy Jones, and England have had a brilliant comeback. After having New Zealand in trouble in the second T20 11 for 4, we know that they went on to get 170 and win that game. England got early wickets throughout this innings, but managed to keep applying that pressure. New Zealand, I worry about them when Sophie Devine doesn't score runs, heavily reliant on her with the bat. To me, they just looked a little bit confused on roles today. We were speaking about it building into the game. If they keep chopping and changing, Susie Bates in, batting at 9, she's out, she's now opening the batting again. I think it's going to cause a lot of confusion. They need to figure out what their best starting 11 is, which is what we're going to try and figure out in 5 minutes or so.
Well, we are, because there is plenty of pondering to do. England have mixed things up in the series, as of New Zealand. And we'll know more once we see the warm-up matches happen. England have got some tough warm-up games as well. They've got a 3-match series against India, then they play Australia and then India again.
Perfect. It's exactly what you need leading into a World Cup. You want to be playing against the best. But yeah, England outstanding. I think the spinners bowled really nicely today. England bowled in partnerships. Obviously, Lindsay Smith setting the tone again, backed up by Izzy Wong from the far end, charging down the hill. She was getting the ball to shape both ways. She looked brilliant with that new ball. And the fact that, England managed to pick up consistent wickets just meant that New Zealand couldn't build any partnerships.
Well, New Zealand 80 all out, having won the toss and elected to bat first. Just one player scoring at a rate greater than 100. Everyone else pretty much actually going at a strike rate below 50. That's what England did so well. It really was a challenging day at the office for this New Zealand batting unit. So Susie Bates made 3, Isabella Gaze made 17 off 13, Mealy Kerr 5 off 11, Sophie Devine a 5-ball duck, Brooke Halliday 2 from 7, Maddie Green 14 from 18, Izzy Sharp none from 3, Jess Kerr 20, top scoring off 27, Nancy Patel 2 off 5, Rosemary Mayer unbeaten at the end on 4 from 7, and Bree Illink the final wicket to fall 3 from 8. In terms of England's bowling performance, well, Lindsay Smith opened the bowling and bowled really nicely in the power play. 4 overs, 2 for 15. Izzy Wong, 4 overs, 1 for 20. Eccleston, 4 overs, 1 for 11. Charlie Dean didn't need her full complement, picked up 3 for 13. And Danny Gibson, 4 overs, 3 for 14. So that is the tale of the tape. England will require 81 to win the game and indeed seal the series. So, as we head towards the World Cup, gets underway on June the 12th. You'll hear every ball of it on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sounds, and all over the BBC as well. And on the BBC Sport website and app, all the best analysis and reaction and action as well. So much to look forward to there. And as Alex and Katie sit alongside me, we're going to go through what we think might be the lineups that these two sides will go for. I mean, this England lineup today, Alex, first of all, has seen Eccleston come in for Lauren Bell. Nat Sciver-Brunt is still to come back. Danny Wyatt is still to come back. Danny Wyatt-Hodge. Where are we in terms of what England know and what questions they need to answer over the course of the next week or so?
Well, Danny Wyatt-Hodge comes back in at the top of the order alongside Sophia Dunkley. Nat Sciver-Brunt 3.
So who goes? Bouchier goes. Capsey?
No, I'm playing Capsey. It's hard after today, isn't it? But if Freya Kemp's fit and bowling, she stays. Danny Gibson slides out. Sophie Eccleston comes in alongside Lauren Bell. And then you've got Smith and Eccleston playing. You've got Lauren Bell with the new ball. That's what I would do personally. I think if you need an extra bowler, then you're going to have to get rid of one of Dunkley or Capsey. But for me, I think that's the wrong decision. I think you want to have a really strong top 6, which if you have Dunkley, Wyatt-Hodge, Sciver-Brunt, Heather Knight, Alice Capsey, Freya Kemp, that's a pretty decent top 6, isn't it? And Freya Kemp, obviously, if she's fit and bowling, managing workloads at the minute, coming back from her back stressy, adds that left arm seam option to the attack, and if she's not bowling, she slots out and Danny Gibson comes in.
Questions I'd have, one thing that might throw a spanner in the works is if Nat Sciver-Brunt comes back and she cannot bowl. You almost actually have to then take a batter out in Alice Capsey and keep a Danny Gibson and Freya Kemp both in, I think.
because you want England to have 6 bowling options, not 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that you can't not play the captain. You can't not play, by definition, even if she wasn't the captain, that sort of approach.
No, she obviously plays. Or you can have Alice Capsey bowling a few off spin as well if she can burgle a couple of overs.
Yep.
I think you can't drop Capsey.
Do you think Charlotte Edwards knows England's best 11? Or is it going to be horses for courses? It'll depend on the opponent.
It will depend on the opponents. It will depend on the surface. I think what England showed in the previous game, obviously Eccleston with a tight quad, probably could have played if it was a World Cup semi-final or a World Cup game. I have no doubt that she would have played. But they also said, actually, this is probably our best 11 on this surface and at this ground. So I think Charlotte Edwards is very much a coach of, we will win. We will play our best 11 to win. So whether... I think this will be a World Cup where they will chop and change, a bit like, Mark Robinson did when England played Sri Lanka, took out a left arm spinner, brought in another off spinner, so he had 2 bowlers taking the ball away from the left-handers. But the strongest 11 for me is that one that I've just said, to start the World Cup.
Katie, do you think that England have got a side that can win the World Cup?
I do think they have a side, and I think it comes down to Sophie Eccleston's form with the ball. For me, she is such a big factor. We saw that today, the control that she's added, all phases bowler. And I think Nat Sivabrannan, where she is in terms of her bowling. So if you've got her bowling, it creates such a nice balance within that side. Otherwise, you're trying to have to cobble a few people together that maybe you kind of need 2-3 players to fit maybe that mix rather than just a couple. For me, it always just comes down to the group they're in is New Zealand and West Indies are the 2 biggest threat in that side, and it's the crossover matchup of whether it's going to be Australia, India or South Africa and how they manage the pressure of a World Cup. I think today we saw how great their fielding was, but they weren't under pressure compared to the previous game as well. So there's always going to be those question marks. But at a home World Cup, when you create a bit of momentum and rhythm and winning early in the tournament, they're a team that is, when they're up, they're a confident side and they're really difficult to beat.
Al, do you see similarities in terms of any of the elements of 2017 that made you a successful side?
I mean, these girls are a lot better than I was at cricket. I think they're professional cricketers. They have been for a long time since being young kids. I think as long as everybody knows their role, I think when everybody is clear and has clarity on what they're doing, then teams are much stronger. And I think what Charlotte Edwards has done, yes, brought in all-rounders, but everybody has a clear plan. Whether you're at the top of the order, whether you're the all-rounder or you've got the new ball in hand, and Lindsay Smith also bowling at the death as well. So everyone, for me, is really clear on what they are going to do, which builds strong sides.
Yeah.
I do look at their draw in their last 2 games are New Zealand and the West Indies, which is a really challenging draw. To say that maybe you get through the tournament in a nice, comfortable fashion with the challenges that they've got, likes of Sri Lanka is probably the biggest threat that they may have early on in the tournament. So until they get to those last couple of games, which are really both quarterfinals in a way, they win one of those 2, that'll make them into the semi-finals. So it is difficult, those last 2 games going in.
Yeah, for New Zealand, I guess that they've got to find a way of not being so up and down. If Sophie Devine's not scoring runs, other people have to contribute.
What about New Zealand then, Katie?
For me, there's probably 3 big question marks. One is the opening pair and who they decide to go with. I'm still not sure about Izzy Gay's up at the top. I think there's enough that she's done previously to have her through the middle. The second one is they're only going to be able to pick 2 bowlers out of 3 when you look at a Leah Tahuhu, a Rosemary Mair and a Jess Kerr.
Oh, Jess Kerr.
Brearling.
I think Brearling's made her mark. I think she's in that first 11 now. And you see the way that England play, they really just sit on her and they struggle against her, and she's that point of difference. And I think once they decide who that's going to be, then it gives them a lot more clarity. I talked in the first game, there was probably confusion around where Rosemary Mair bowled. And I think if you've got Jess Kerr in the team, then Rosemary Mair probably isn't going to bowl those power play overs, when I think she's at the best bowling with the new ball early on. And the third question mark for me is around what you do around that left-hander. I think Brooke Halliday's really struggled in T20 cricket. She's striking under 100, average of 14, hasn't scored a 50 yet. And I guess, Sophie Devine and Maddie Green probably covers over a little bit of those issues through the middle order. You could bring in, I think Nancy Patel's a definite within the side. You could have an option of bringing in a Flora Devonshire that provides you that left-hand ability and that left arm ortho as an option, which we know is so difficult in women's cricket. So those are three questions
it's almost a cheat code, isn't it, having a left arm spinner in your lineup? I think the way Nancy has played, she kind of has to play. Yeah. Suzie Bates is a big question mark for me. What is her role? Do they want her at the top? Do they want her as a bowling all-rounder? Do they want her out the side? To me, she had a huge opportunity today to go out there and make her mark, whether or not she's put too much pressure on herself at the top of the order to say, right, I've got to score runs, I want to be playing, I should be playing in this starting 11. But she really struggled today at the top.
If she's not opening the batting, I don't think she's in the team.
No, I don't.
Right, I'm getting out of the way. We've got Alison Mitchell ready to take up commentary start of the innings with you, Alex.
Yeah, so I don't think we've actually come up with a New Zealand starting 11 there, but I'm with Katie. I think if Suzie Bates isn't at the top of the order, she's not going to bowl. She doesn't play for me, and it's a shame. She's been such a servant to New Zealand cricket, but if she can't find a role within this team or a solid role, then she's unfortunately going to have to miss out for me. But it's good to have all these headaches. It's a funny one with Plymouth coming out today. I would have loved to have seen her have another go at the top of the order, just to see if she can get some confidence. Hopefully they'll be able to get some confidence into her in their warm-up matches before the World Cup.
Hello, Alex. Yeah, it's only a couple for New Zealand, isn't it, against Bangladesh and South Africa. In the meantime, they need to put in the most barnstorming bowling effort here if they're going to get anything out of this match. Rosemary Mayer is back in the side today, so she's got the task of opening the bowling.
If New Zealand are going to win, they need 6 in the power play.
They're going to need an almighty collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 going some though. I mean, there could be a collapse towards overs 8 to 12 maybe.
Nah, 6 in the power play.
Well, how do you think Dunkley and Capsey will go about this? I mean, chasing a small total, they've got so much time. They don't need a big strike rate, but
get it done by 5 o'clock.
You've got your eye on.
I've got 5-hour drive.
Right, here we go then. Rosemary Mayer is coming into bowl to Dunkley, as she's racing in right arm over the seam bowl, and Dunkley clips it off her hit neatly to get off the mark with a single. Sophie Devine is there at mid-wicket. She moves in to pick up, and so England are on their way. The target is 81 to win the series, 2-1. They came into this as a series decider, and England dominated from the start with the ball, and they kept it up right the way through the innings.
Did you say 16 years they've not won a series?
Yeah, 2010 the last time New Zealand won a bilateral. Now, that was a no ball as well that Rosemary Mayer began with. When you're defending just 80, the worst possible way to start. So, free hit is signalled.
Don't know how Alice Capsey's not just smiled at that. First ball.
Yeah,
when you play in the garden, you're like, can't be out first ball. It's exactly what Alice Capsey has here.
So the extra moves the score on to 2. Capsey to face her first ball, and it is a free hit. Mayer moves in. Well, it's a length ball. Capsey's heaved it high. Maddie Green settles underneath it on the edge of the circuit to catch the ball. Of course, not a wicket because it's the free hit, so he can't be out caught. She couldn't have been bowled either. That's the point of it, but only yielded 1. Didn't manage to quite get it over the head of Maddie Green. She was aiming through our commentary box window, I think, or hoping she was going to get enough distance on it.
Would you try and catch it?
If it came through the window, depended. If it was on its way down, I think I'd give it a go. If it was still travelling flat and hard, I'd be getting out the way. Mayer in. Good delivery, targeting the stumps and defended by Dunkley. Back up the pitch into the hands of the bowler. Would you be diving for it?
I'm hoping Katie had with her mitts.
Well, she's the wicket keeper. She'd be diving across the both of us, I'd hope.
For me, with this bowling lineup that New Zealand have got, they've got 3 opening bowlers that obviously can't all open. So that's the question mark when they play all these 3 seamers together with Mayer, Kerr and Illing.
The tall figure of Mayer is in again, long dark hair, clipped away into mid-wicket once again, not completely clean. Divine's there to pick up, another single for Dunkley.
I would love to see Bri Illing take the new ball from the far end and bowl down the hill with her pace and her bounce. But then Jess Kerr almost, once that ball stops swinging, becomes irrelevant. She swings the ball so much, she's so threatening.
Really relies on the ball being
Really relies on that new ball, yeah.
Mayer setting off again, 4 without loss, England. In this opening over of the run chase, and that's cut back in a little bit on Capsey. Comes off the pad, they take 1. And umpire Jackie Williams moves away from the stumps, raises her leg and taps it to single a leg by. 4 without loss for England. Sorry, 5 now. Yeah, both sides have got options and plenty to ponder. And so you want to really move through a World Cup with a settled side, with everybody knowing their roles. And certainly England, with the injuries which have caused the problems, well, good problems to have if you like, with the debates that can be had in different scenarios. Defence this time from Dunkley again. Mayer targeting the stumps. Dunkley getting well in behind it, back up the pitch to Mayer, no run.
Katie Martin's just made my day. I forgot we went to the shop and bought fizzy drinks
Found you
before.
a fizzy drink, a nice cold can.
Just gonna. This is the best sound in the world,
That's the sound of a summer's day, that is.
isn't it? Isn't it, Jill?
That's one for Katie.
Anyone else?
I'm afraid I can't do it because I can't drink gassy drinks and commentate at the same time.
Yeah, when I get the hiccups and I'm going.
The two in the deep square and a cow corner here. Dunkley waits back high as Mayer bowls a full ball down the leg side. Did she get anything on it? A bit of a half appeal. Maddie Green from mid-on has both arms raised, but nothing on it as it went through to Gaze, the keeper. First over's gone then, and England have got 5 runs on the board in their pursuit of their target of 81 to close out this series 2-1. Danny Gibson 3 for 13 earlier. Charlie Dean also 3 for 13, but it was Gibson's impact, wasn't it, with the ball? 2 wickets in the 1 over when she got Neely Kerr and the big wicket of Devine, and followed up with Maddie Green as well. So you've gone boom, 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 like the 3 mainstays in that batting order.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from her. And I guess the pressure that Lindsay Smith had helped build alongside Izzy Wong meant that maybe they had to play a few shots they didn't want to. But again, when you look at the dismissals from New Zealand, there's so many soft dismissals.
Maybe wanting to put those away as they move through. Right, here is Bree Illing then. Red head, left arm over she bowls, clipped away, behind square, past the umpire. Bit of a chasing in the deep here for deep square. The pick-up is clean though, and the throw comes back in. It's just the one for England.
Someone else has had the summer's day, and there it is.
It's catching, isn't it? Oh, that's it. Just such gorgeous weather, and we're set for a good few days of it. We've already had a few days. It's amazing, isn't it, that it's stretched across the whole bank holiday weekend.
Well, me and Katie are off to Ireland for their test match, so let's hope it's still warm over there, because normally it's a bit colder.
Well, it could be glorious. A leaf at the crease here. Illing tries to get it down the leg side, wide as signalled, a diving take behind the stumps from Gaze. And Sophia Dunkley tried to follow it and couldn't, so wide signalled by Sue Redfern. So, yeah, again, defending its low total and New Zealand giving away extras. We've had a no ball in the first over, a wide down the leg side. He's getting another look at that. Our angle, we're watching from behind deep third here with the bowler coming from the far end of the ground. Quick single taken here into the covers, throw at the stumps, comfortably home is Capsey. And England take another one, 8 for none. Seagulls are swirling around through this beautiful warm air as well.
Nowhere to land here, lads, go away.
Yeah, I think they're realising. There's probably a few chips to be eaten though, I'm sure. A few crisps around the crowd, dropped on the ground. Illing, a leap at the crease again, a little bit of pace off, eased up past the stumps and picked up at mid-off by Capsey. And no run taken. It's just been a revelation seeing Capsey up the top of the order, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, but it's almost like, well, you know, Danny White-Hodge is going to come back, but Capsey for me plays in the 11. I was just going to say, I saw on TikTok the other day that somewhere in Brighton, when you buy an ice cream, you can get ice cream insurance.
What? Illing moves in, turned behind square by Capsey. Keeper is running after it, jogging through for one. Ice cream insurance? But insuring against what? That your ice cream doesn't melt when you buy it?
No, the pesky seagulls don't come down and nab it off you, because that's what they do to little kids, isn't it? So I think you
dive bomb you.
Yeah, I think you pay an extra £1 for ice cream insurance, and if a seagull nabs your ice cream, you can go and get another one.
Does it have to be proven? Like, does the ice cream seller have to have witnessed it happening, or they just, take your word for it? Illing in again now. Dunkley, a little bit of a shimmy. Pulls it square. There's protection on the boundary. It's just the one. Taken on the bounce in the deep. Because, you could wander away for 5 minutes, couldn't you? And then just come back and say, scoff your ice cream and go back and say, seagull took it.
Yeah, I think you're trying to eliminate the greediness out of kids there, to be fair. But yeah, ice cream insurance.
Wow. I had no idea that was the thing.
Yeah, well, Mr. Whippies are expensive these days anyway, aren't they? So
true. Over the wicket is Illing, the left armour, turned down towards fine leg. Capsey through for 1. And the throw back into the gloves of the keeper. So 11 on the board then, England in pursuit of their 81. So far, so good. 4 for Dunkley, 3 for Capsey. And England are well on their way. Yeah, they're picking off the ones, nothing too elaborate at the moment. They know they've got plenty of time, but I'm sure they would want to just get into a good flow of scoring and get into that mode where they are finding boundaries and taking down bowlers and really imposing themselves with the bat as much as they imposed themselves with the ball earlier.
Absolutely. I think from Alice Capsey's point of view, I think she showed some great maturity in the first T20 when she was, 3 off 8 or 9 deliveries and then caught up really nicely and had that confidence to know that she could do that. So not getting too frustrated knowing they can catch up both of these two.
Right, Nancy Patel is over the wicket. Has a shout for LBW first ball here and it's given. Alice Capsey. Will she review? She's turned on her heel and she's going to have a conversation with Sophia Dunkley and she's straight off. No review offered. And so New Zealand, defending their total of just 80, do have Capsey out early. She's gone for 3 off 6, 11 for 1.
Yeah, Capsey just looking to sweep the ball. We saw in the first innings how many wickets came from those cross-batted shots, but it is strength of Alice Capsey's, but it's what you want her doing early in her innings, having that square leg up, forcing her to sweep, and it hits her in front of middle stump, probably going on to hit leg stump. And Patel there, the only fielder to appeal for New Zealand, which is very unusual.
And it was a full-blooded appeal as well, wasn't it? Swivel back to the umpire, down on one knee, both arms outstretched with the fists clenched. But a short-lived innings today for Alice Capsey. He batted so brilliantly to get England past New Zealand in the first game in Derby, 74 off 51 that day.
Be really interested to see how the last innings has affected Maya Bouchier because she went a run of ball 30 odd. I think it was 36, was it, Alia?
Yeah, 38 off 33. Yeah.
So she caught up towards the end, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't fiery enough. She couldn't find the boundary. She got a little bit bogged down. But I'm hoping that doesn't affect her into today's game.
Here's Patel then. Quite quick off spin. Worked towards green at mid-wicket. And no run. I mean, what do you make of in Patel's bowling? More sort of a mix between off-spin and medium pace, really. She comes off quite a long run for a spinner. Worked again into the onside, green there to pick up. A couple of dot balls.
I like her bowling. I think she's come on loads. I think she was contracted in 2022 for New Zealand, but didn't play. And then there's been an injury to Eden Carson, so a huge opportunity for her to make her claim.
Patel in again, a little more flight, just comes off the face of the bat but beats Patel in her follow through. She dived to try and save the single, picked up on the edge of the circle in the end, and Boucher able to get off the mark for the 1, but he wasn't complete control of that as it came full off the face of the bat and aerially, just momentarily. Yeah, Eden Carson featured in the 2024 World Cup winning side. It's quite the character as well.
Oh, she was my favourite.
She gave some great interviews. very happy person, should we say. Patel moves in again, full delivery now. Did she get any bat on that? The ball is fizzing away down towards the sight screen at the far end. Is it buys? No, some bat on it. 4 signalled by Jackie Williams. So Dunkley moves on to 8, 16 for 1 England now in this third over.
It was quick, it was flat from Patel, arm ball. Dunkley looking to slap the ball through the offside as it was full wide outside the off stump. Thick inside edge through Izzy Gaze's legs for 4.
Dunkley settles over her bat once more. One more ball in the over to come from Patel, who's taken 1 wicket in this over already. Forward she comes, defence back up the pitch. So New Zealand getting the breakthrough that they so desperately need if they're to put England under some pressure here, chasing a low total. 16 for 1 after 3 overs of the 20. You mentioned the first T20 a minute ago in a different context. This ground, this equivalent fixture, England versus New Zealand, go back to 2004 in Hove, the first ever T20 international, full stop. Yeah. Men's or women's, because the women did it first, and it was only 6 months later, I think in the following February in 2005 when the men played their first T20 international. But yeah, it just totally took my mind back today because I did that match. I think I'm not sure I was actually...
You must have been young then.
I was, yeah, I'd only just started. I'd been working at the BBC for I think like a year and a half. Just getting another replay of the LBW. Wicket's missing.
Gosh.
That was for Capsey. Well, she's walking off. She had a chance to review. Maybe Sophia Dunkley said don't bother. Clipped towards mid-wicket here. Jess Kerr has replaced Bree Illing.
Sorry, I got giddy there and interrupted you, but I was like, that's going to miss.
And it did miss.
Yeah.
She'll be very rueful sitting up in the dressing room saying, why didn't I review? Because it felt as if she wanted to, didn't it? The way she walked back towards Dunkley. She didn't walk off straight away.
Yeah. It looked out. They're funny how those decisions can, when you see them slowed down on a replay, it just looked out in real time.
Kerr sprints in, right arm over, fuller delivery, looking to drive. Nice looking drive, sprinting through though, because it's picked up on the edge of the circle. And the throw at the stumps misses. Really had to get a move on then, did Boucher, to make sure of the single. With the drive being picked up by mid-on. There was a bit of a risk attached in that, but sprinted through.
Yeah, it would have been home safely. Had there been a direct hit. Boucher, pretty quick between the wickets.
17 for 1 in the 4th over. Yeah, I don't think I was actually even doing ball-by-ball commentary in 2004. In fact, I wasn't, because my first ever was in 2006. Leap at the crease here for Kerr, and here's the ramp from Dunkley, gets plenty on it. Down the ground, it'll spin off for 4. Hit the turf, gathered pace, and there was no stopping that. A little bit of flamboyancy from Sophia Dunkley.
Yeah, lovely from Dunkley, knowing if she gets anything on it, that deep fine leg is really, really square. And there's a huge gap behind the wicket keeper, swinging the ball in towards Dunkley. She just has to step outside the off stump and loft the ball over the keeper for 4. Brilliantly played, good risk, good reward.
Yeah, really deft work, getting herself into good position quickly. Keeper standing up to Jess Kerr, who races in again, takes a little bit of pace off perhaps, and Dunkley is easing it up towards mid-off. And the throw comes in very high for Gage, has to leap and grab it one-handed. But yeah, the women leading away again in T20 internationals. I think it's a shame Isha's not here because she played in that match.
Did she?
She did. Having a look at the
amazing to see how far the game's come.
Scorecard. Maya Lewis was the captain for New Zealand, and of course that was the era of Claire Connor as England captain, so she led out the field.
Was it a low-scoring thriller?
It was a higher scoring game than we've got today. New Zealand made 131 for 8 batting first. Here is Kerr in again. Dunkley from the crease defending, high front elbow back up the pitch. Picked up by the bowler.
I suppose that's not that bad then, because nobody really knew how to play T20 cricket.
Nobody had a clue really about what was a good score. But I remember as if it was a game treated like a sort of proper cricket match, whereas the men's, do you remember in New Zealand when they played in 2005, the guys dressed up. the New Zealanders were wearing their beige like throwback shirts. They came out wearing terry toweling hats. As Kerr moves in again, Dunkley looking to get down low and sweep this. A quick single taken. They're going to be given as a bye. Ricocheted off the keeper to be picked up by Devine behind the stumps, and wide down the leg side is what is signalled by Sue Redfern. Yeah, Dunkley trying to go cross-batted and get something on it, but too far down that leg side. And then Gaze a little bit blocked by keeper, not able to save the run that followed. So that's a couple for England, 23 for 1. Kerr is in again. Low along the ground this time, out to deep square. Calling for a second is Boucher, and gets home comfortably. The throw is on the bounce into the keeper. So some good early calling and good running between the two. 4 overs are gone. England 25 for 1 in pursuit of their target of 81. Dunkley on 12, Boucher on 4. Yeah, so that New Zealand-Australia game, I think the Aussies seem to take it a bit more seriously. Maybe Kate Payton probably remember it as well, but yeah, the guys were wearing, I think some of them even had like fake moustaches on. They certainly had like sideburns and the terry toweling hats. Yes, hasn't T20 come a long way since then?
I always like getting on my little high horse alley about that, and how certain people say, it's the Ashes and the women's Ashes. I'm like, okay, well, it's T20 cricket and men's T20 cricket, or a World Cup and a men's World Cup.
Because the women did it first both times.
Shuts them up. Or then we have a blazing row in a pub.
Well, let's just go for the equality of it's men's this and women's
exactly.
that. New over, Rosemary Mayer continuing. Some width, which has Dunkley reaching for it, through to the keeper, didn't make a connection. Taken cleanly. Yeah, I think that day at Hove in 2004, I'm sure there were like gimmicks on the sidelines, and that carried right the way through. That had already been a thing, hadn't it, in the T20 Cup that began the year before in 2003. So there'd been a season of men's county cricket playing T20s, but not at international level. And it was the full-on days of having the, I don't know, paddling pools or bouncy castles, everything on the boundary, all sorts of entertainment going on beyond the ropes. Now, Dunkley's taking her time here. Was there something on the pitch in front of her that she was... Is that Katie? She's settled now. And Mare's running in. Again, driving along the ground, hasn't connected cleanly. Green at mid-on, Fields. Dot ball, full of delivery that time from Mare. 25 for 1. I always just want to sort of go to Sophia Dunkley, just hoik her helmet straight. We get the close-up of her on TV. It sort of was a bit of a jaunty angle.
It is. She bats with her head on a little tilt, so it probably looks straight for her.
Yes, yeah. As she's looking out through the grill, it will be perfect alignment. Mare, tall at the crease. A little bit of width chopped into the ground, but can't get it past the infield. And Ringfield on that offside. So far, as fielders are keeping it clean. Lots of gaps on the leg side. And protection on the boundary there. Dunkley's trying to pierce that infield. 12 from 15 so far. Boucher at the other end on 4. Heather Knight be due in next, then Freya Kemp, and then Danny Gibson, Jones, Dean, Wong, Eccleston, and Lindsay Smith. And they're in outside the off stump, a little bit firmer from Dunkley this time. Does get it through the infield, out towards the boundary. The ball's racing away. Fielder can't get there, goes for 4. Hot day, firm outfield, fast outfield. If you can get it through that infield, very, very hard to cut off.
Yeah, good from Sophia Dunkley, who hammered that cover fielder a couple of times but didn't get too frustrated this time. Such a bottom-handed shot, leaning back in a crease, whipping the ball through extra cover for 4.
Yep, strength in the shot, precision as well. 29 for 1. Capsey was out LBW for 3. Mare in again. Dunkley tucks it into the vacant mid-wicket region. Maddie Green moves in from mid-on. Stoops to pick up. And another one taken. Capsey in the pavilion realising that if she'd reviewed, she would have still been out there from the replay that we've seen.
You want your top order to use them as well, don't you, really? No point saving them towards the back end of the innings. Yes, you know, sort of feel like you'd love Nat Sivabrunt to have one in the tank if she's batting in case she gets a howler, but but I'm...
You've got to back yourself that you're the batter in the top order for good reason, therefore if you feel you've been poorly adjudged, you use it. Last ball of the over from Mare is Boucher, a little bit on the up here, but safe. That's an extra cover. Picks out the fielder, though. Dot ball to end the over. So we've had 5. England have lost Capsey for 3, but they're otherwise looking good to reach their target of 81. 30 on the board now. Dunkley 17, Boucher on 4. New Zealand have got to find a way just to get a little bit of jitters going and just take something from this match, even if England do, go on to win, and they're obviously heavy favourites to do so. But and England on the other hand, can they do it in a really convincing fashion with as few wickets down as possible and make it a comfortable one? Alex Hartley, Henry Moran's going to come in and join you now.
Yeah, look, I think for New Zealand, if they can, try and get England 5 or 6 down while they're chasing this small total, then you can take some positives out of the game. Can they apply enough pressure in the power play? They've obviously picked up an early wicket from Nancy Patel. But for England, as Ali says, they want to be clinical with this run chase.
Yep, I agree with that. Bree Illing bowling a second over as her spell continues from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. The gulls go wheeling around. I think that's something we win at as a nation. Seagulls, gulls.
We win.
In the sense that other countries get them. Somebody made this point on Radio 4 the other day. But ours are bigger.
Ours? It's because they steal everybody's food.
They show initiative, therefore. But you get up close and personal, they're massive. In comes Bree Illing. And whipping across the line. Good-looking shot from Dunkley. She plays in this unconventional way where you're not quite sure how the ball has ended up where it has, but it is effective when she gets going. And England moves to 34 for 1. It was cross-batted, wrists rolled, kept down.
Well, even Sophia Dunkley sort of went, ooh, got away with that one. I think she was looking to go more down the ground, but as you say, when she whips those wrists into the leg side or flicks them, the ball just gone a little bit squarer than she would have hoped.
Illing, again back of a length, just dropping the ball into the offside. Oh, I tell you what, there could have been a little collision there between Illing and Bouchier, but one thing these two have done very well is put real pressure on the fielders. 35 for 1. Are you with me on the goal front?
Honestly, I walked past a seagull yesterday that was just lingering outside Tesco, and it was like a dog. Put a lead on it, you wouldn't have known the difference. It was ginormous.
Now, there is an obvious question here, Alex. Was it a dog?
No, it was a seagull. It was massive. It was like a Great Dane.
They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah.
Here is Illing. Bouchier up on her toes, whips the ball into the leg side, out towards backward square leg to Maddie Green. England 36 for 1. And it always surprises me, because you see them flying past, you think, well, that's quite big, but then when they get near, they're huge, great things. As you say, and maybe it's just being by the seaside where you've got ample opportunity for chip raiding.
Yeah, I don't think I get very many seagulls in Manchester city centre.
Now, your issue is pigeons on your balcony.
So many pigeons.
In comes Brie Illing, left arm over, and Dunkley will hit the ball in the air, straight to the fielder at mid-on. Catch taken by Rosemary Mayer, and Dunkley, well, she got away with one a little bit earlier on in the over. This time doesn't. And England 2 down, 36 for 2. They're only chasing 81. So they're still well in control of this game, but Dunkley goes 22 from 21 deliveries.
Yeah, maybe just stuck in the surface ever so slightly from Illing there. Outside the off stump, short ball banging into the pitch. Looking for the pull shot was Sophia Dunkley, but a little bit late on it, coming off the splice of the bat and just spoons it up to mid-on, who takes a simple catch. New Zealand have managed to pick up 2 in the power play. I said they'll need 6. Katie Martin said they'll need 4 to win. So they've not got many balls left to get another 2 wickets.
She's fuming.
Yeah.
Dunkley.
We've seen a few softies today.
We have, haven't we? It's not been a day that has been necessarily sort of filled with glorious stroke making, I think it's fair to say.
Well, the seagulls, right, we're talking about them. They're circling round, but they look like they're going to fly through our window, and then they last minute dive up, don't they?
Yeah.
I would really shout and scream, and I had to really think about what I could say on the radio there, if one came in this commentary box through our big open window.
You'd really shout and scream? I think you probably would. Yeah, I mean, would be a bit alarming, wouldn't it? Here is Brie Illing to bowl to Heather Knight, who comes forward in defence oh so solidly. And the power play comes to an end with England requiring just 45 to win. It's 36 for 2, the wickets, Capsey for 3, Dunkley for 22. The power play offering a few boundaries, but a couple of wickets in there as well, with Capsey out LBW. And she reviewed it. She would not have been. It was missing. And Dunkley, some innovation at times with her 22, but eventually perishing court at mid-on. Little wave from down below us as Maddie Green makes her way to this end of the ground, fielding probably 15 yards away from us at long on.
Yeah, I love seeing the girls out there in the middle, and they look up and they're like, hello, I hope you're doing okay. Sorry you got out in the way you did. I might have slagged you off, I might not, I can't remember.
It's the worry, isn't it? Because that was a big problem during the days of the grounds were empty. Start of a new over, we'll see Mealy Kerr into the attack with her leg spin, and the ball worked into the onside by Bouchier, who moves to 6, 37 for 2. When
you could hear every word you said.
Hear which during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to say
appalling drop.
Appalling. Dreadful.
Whisper it.
Mealy Kerr runs in over the wicket. Knight comes forward looking for that single into the offside, beats Susie Bates at short cover.
Well, the type of character that Heather Knight is, she'll want to see this home, won't she? Knowing that they only need 43 more to win here, England, she'll want to be in total control of this run chase for them.
Here is Mealy Kerr. Oh, it was hit back towards her. It was a diving attempt from the White Fern's skipper, but she couldn't stop it. 39 for 2. Yeah, they're making a bit of a racket now. Those are the juvenile ones, the ones that are more grey and speckly.
I thought that meant an inmate, juvenile. But that...
Driven down the ground by Heather Knight. And the score moves to 40 for 2. England heading towards the halfway mark in their run chase of just 81.
I thought a juvenile was somebody that was in prison.
No, that is an inmate.
No, there's something...
Pushed forward by the bowler, by Bouchier, back to the bowler. 1 ball left of the over, the 7th of the innings.
Juvenile prison is a youth prison,
yes.
Isn't it? See, easy mistake to make.
Here is Mealy Kerr. Bowls a low full toss, which Bouchier can't get away. And the score stands at 40 for 2. 7 overs gone. You're going to have a little break, Alex.
Good.
So the audience, as we see Katie Martin come to join us again. Yeah, both of us looked a bit quizzical then, Katie. What do you make of the match situation then? England need just 41 to win from 78 balls.
It's just grinding out a win, I think, here for England. Not taking too much intent against New Zealand in terms of high-risk options. It'll just be around how they control and get that victory. So the question is from Charlotte Edwards, how dominant does she want this batting to look? Is it just a matter of finishing off the game? Good opportunity for Knight and Bouchier, who obviously struggle with boundaries at this part of the game, how they show a little bit more intent.
Well, it was the middle overs where England struggled to find the ropes in the last match. And there's a good ball. Beats the outside edge from Illing. It lifted a bit, and Heather Knight was genuinely beaten as it went through to the keeper. So that is an area they really will want to work on.
Heather Knight's someone that's so good at taking a few balls but being able to shift momentum quickly in the way that she plays. New Zealand have kept the drives up, so they're saying, OK, if you want to go for that option, we know Heather Knight likes to use her feet to get down the wicket to bowlers.
Here comes Illing. Oh, it's another good ball. Blimey, she's such a good bowler. Thrilling to watch.
She just looks like she's going across Heather Knight here, just bowling into the surface. Heather Knight squaring up, just pushing her hands and fiddling at a good length. Delivery that's angling across. I almost wonder, just the more that Bri Illing is bowling downhill, the more rhythm that she's starting to get. It's quite a unique thing when you actually play in England, is just being able to manage the slope, how it impacts your run-up.
Illing again, bangs it in short, and that might be the wicket. I thought I heard something she tried to pull that, but it's over shoulder height. And Knight trying to slam down a la something you might see at Roland Garros over the next couple of weeks.
It looked like a wide, did it? How far over her head was that one? Maybe she looked to make that a lot shorter than it was Heather Knight. It was almost a tennis, what do you call that?
Smash.
Serve, yeah.
So 3 dot balls to start this 8th over. England need 41 to win their 40 for 2. Illing bowls to Knight, squared up by that, and it goes dropping towards Nancy Patel at backward point. So tell me about Bri Illing. Where's she been discovered, and her journey to the White Fern side?
Yeah, I actually remember Bri just before, a year before the Home World Cup in 2022. She played for New Zealand development team. I think that was against England. We actually had some warm-up games against England, and she hadn't actually played any domestic cricket at that point in time.
Illing bowls a full delivery, which Knight will get a run from this time, pushing towards mid-wicket. Rosemary Mayer took the catch to remove Dunkley, runs in from mid-on to pick up, 41 for 2.
Played for Auckland, so she's from the Auckland region, and she wasn't really getting too much opportunity for Auckland, so after that development she sort of fell away to the wayside because she wasn't getting that domestic opportunity. And it was only in the last year where she got her debut for Auckland, and she hasn't looked back since, and I think New Zealand were desperate to try and get that left-arm pace bowler in as that point of difference.
She runs in now, and Bouchier defends. That's an excellent over, just the 1 run from it, and the way that Bri Illing has bowled has looked every bit the accomplished seasoned international. 22 years old, and somebody I think who's got a very bright future in the game, certainly. As England 41 for 2, only need 40 to win.
It's an interesting theory because in the major associations you've got Auckland, Hearts, and then you've got Northern Brave, and Northern Brave's Hamilton-based team, which is just an hour south of Auckland, and there was a discussion about whether she would go and play for Northern because it was her best chance to be able to be seen and play domestic cricket. But she just was desperate to be able to play for her home province in Auckland, so that's why she just continued playing that club level.
Knight on strike gets a full toss, but she can't get past Susie Bates. She'll be annoyed at that because Mealy Kerr doesn't offer many freebies. That was one of them. 41 for 2.
I think professional cricket nowadays, you can have the option of being able to move. I'm sure we've seen that here as well domestically.
Just working the ball into the leg side. Good running from England, and another single is accrued as Jess Kerr can't get there from mid-wicket to stop the one. 42 for 2. Absolutely, we've seen a lot of players, particularly with the new format. Somebody like a good example, I suppose, would be Emily Windsor, who works with us, moved from Hampshire up to Durham. Down the leg side, and that'll be wide. Boucher missing out, but it is at least one onto the total.
There's such good earning level at the moment, like especially for the New Zealand players who get equal match payments in the boys as well, so you're earning a good amount of money, nearly £100,000 a year. The top players are getting that at a bare minimum.
Mealy Kerr bowls and slapped back past her towards Maddie Green, who runs in from the boundary below us. One more, Boucher to 8.
So I don't know if there's that same loyalty that maybe in the past where you wanted to play for your province. It's probably still there a little bit for New Zealand, but I think nowadays you have to be playing domestic cricket to be seen. There's a lot more pathways with New Zealand Day, so you do get more opportunities.
Mealy Kerr bowls, it's swept aerially. It could be a chance of a catch, could be, isn't. Put down by Brooke Halliday. It was dipping, it was tough. She might have felt she could have got there, but it was almost sort of half volley, trip to the dentist sort of stuff.
Well, New Zealand almost set up this with a field that they had set, no fine leg. Heather Knight shuffled across onto that off stump. Brooke Halliday slow to get off.
Oh, she had
The
it.
boundary rope, it was in her hand, it was low in front of her and just dropped out.
45 for 2. That's a horrible ball down the leg side. Can sometimes happen with a leg spinner.
Is that a ball of frustration? Look like it's just fired down leg side. One big difference, England is so good at being able to get off that boundary rope, and the constant discussion you have is, can you get 5 off and know you're creating opportunities in front of you?
Mealy Kerr whips the ball into the leg side, does Boucher, and between fielders to allow a couple of runs. That's nicely done as Sophie Devine moves round in front of the picnic tables, and with that, Boucher to double figures. She was on to 10. It's 48 for 2 with the ball left of the 9th over. It's good, just pocket finding, really, isn't it? That was nice, just ticking things over. England don't need to do more than that. Their target's just 81. Mealy Kerr bowls. Well, that's an aggressive-looking stroke, and Maddie Green again. We'll see the catch just dropped short of her, and it was one of those where maybe just a little slow setting off, but in the end, no harm done. 9 overs gone, 49 for 2. Now, we've had an email here, quite relevant to that shot. It comes from Sally. He says, if a ball flies through the window and you catch it, does the commentary team get £1,000? Now, the reason why is that one of the sponsors for the domestic T20 at certain venues, I think, does offer that. If you take a crowd catch, you win. I think we should get more than that if it gets as far as here, because it'll have to be an amazing shot, and we're wired in, so we don't have quite as much freedom of getting around and agility.
I like that.
Jess Kerr from the far end. In the air, but just outside the reach of the fielder. That's a good-looking shot from Boucher, whipping across the line for 4. And the 50 comes up for England, 53 for 2. And it's just 28 to win.
Yeah, clear shift of intent here for Maya Boucher, just over-pitched from Jess Kerr. All she's done is really just work her hands across the ball, knowing it was a slower delivery up and over that mid-wicket fielder. Well, in New Zealand, there was a competition called Catch a Million.
Ooh.
And so you had to buy these orange tops from a local
2015 World Cup,
yeah.
Flighty delivery, which is clipped out towards deep cover for one more, 54 for 2.
So yeah, you had to wear an orange top and catch it one-handed, and you went in for a chance of winning $1 million. So by the end of the summer, the amount of people that had caught in the crowd had won the pot. So if it was 10 people, divided by 10, so you get 100,000. Oh my goodness, the amount of people that were clambering over each other.
But the grass banks in New Zealand would have made it amazing, yeah. Knight, lovely ramp, over the shoulder it goes, down towards the fine leg boundary. It is slowing up a little bit and it will be cut off. Sharp it is running round in the bright sunglasses.
But it got canned because it wasn't probably that PC, to be honest. People got a bit sick of guys jumping over top of them while they're having their picnics at the cricket and
I can imagine that.
over. There was a few injury issues, I think, that started to arise. But I tell you what, it was one of the most popular competitions. Now it's at the SA20. They do it.
Apparently. Here is Kerr. Oh, goodness me. It's the worst ball I've ever seen.
How's it ended up at Bree-Illing at third?
It ended up at short third. I mean, what do you even give that? I mean, what was it? What is it? It would have hit the side of the net.
Sue's got no clue here. It's just a dead ball, isn't it? No ball. Unless they're saying it's landed off the cut strip before the popping crease would mean that it's a no ball. So they're going to check where this has landed. What Jess Kerr's done here is she's tried to bowl a slower ball out the back of the hand, and it's popped out the back of her pocket, or the side of her hand, and it's landed. Oh, we can't even see that on the screen. Where's it landed? Probably gully? They're just checking to see whether it's landed on the cut. Oh my goodness, it's nearly a point. Oh no, it's gone past the popping. It's a dead ball.
Well, it's dead embarrassing, I'll tell you that much. I loved it. We need more of... It was proper sporting nonsense.
Jess Kerr has wiped her hand about 20 times on her pants, suggesting that maybe she's got a sweaty hand, but I don't know if that was before or after the delivery.
Sue Redfern is going to have a conversation with Jacqueline Williams at square leg.
It's a dead ball. It's landed...
Yeah, we could see that in the replay.
Sue's talking to Jackie as if she's like, well, this is the decision I'm going to make. She's quite strong, but I'm not sure if she knows what decision she actually should be making. Just a bit of confusion with the umpires coming together. Clearly see that it's landed, dead ball's been called, and then a wide.
Well, you know, sometimes in the IPL you can review a wide. I wouldn't be wasting one on that.
Yeah, they have to go about it to put the lines up to make sure it's in the right area. I'm not sure where they were going to put the line there.
Need a lot of paint.
Also, it's something that Jess Kerr's probably tried to look at is how she can create a difference in pace in her slower delivery. It's usually an average of 5k slower. So I think that was the option there of actually going a lot slower.
That's a pace on delivery and nothing more sure than that. Pushed into the offside for one.
Is that a kind way of putting that? Jess is a good friend of mine, so I'm allowed to say what I like about her, but yeah, that's one of the things that New Zealand probably have said as well. If your role is now to bowl through the middle, or we're trying to work out who's going to be our opening option, how you get that difference in pace. You know, Lauren Bell, what is she? 20 to 30k slower in terms of her slow deliveries.
That Izzy Wong dismissal earlier on. And Bouchier looking to try and find a single. Won't do so because a good piece of fielding at mid-wicket from Rosemary Mayer will prevent that. Boucher's on 16. England just need 23 to win, by the way. 58 for 2. We'll have drinks after this ball.
And Jess Kerr, someone asked me why her dad didn't throw too many balls as a kid. Well, she was actually a cross-country runner, sort of a 1500, I think, a distance runner they call them. She had a dream of going to the Olympics as a runner.
Right.
But shifted now to cricket.
Well, indeed. England almost dropping and running. Throw comes in, misses. And another single will be taken to give Bouchier the strike at the start of the 11th over, with just 22 to win. Well, maybe she wanted to throw the ball so far away that she'd actually get in a 1,500 metres in retrieving it.
Well, almost feel like she could have been javelin at the rate she was going then.
Yeah, indeed.
Sort of like the hammer throw.
It was extraordinary. Anyway, best of the actions on the red button later on this evening, and iPlayer. And a little reminder that this is the final game of this series, but we've got plenty more to come. Starting at Chelmsford, 3 T20s against India for England's women. That gets underway on Thursday, so look out for that. Ali Mitchell will be there, I will be there, and Ali Mitchell is going to be here in just a sec.
On the Hawkeye replay, it's gone Jess Kerr mystery ball, and then it's ball tracked to show it landing nearly in front of the feet of the fielder that it's at third. Yeah, the Knights just looked up like that experience. saying what the heck is going on here. But you feel like the pace of the game, Ellie, is where it's England are just saying we want to win this, we're going to grind out a victory, and for New Zealand it's just around chopping and changing the bowlers to see who could come about an option. I guess the question is, does Susie Bates get a bowl, or do they sort of say we've moved away from that as an option with how good Nancy Patel has been in this bowling lineup?
It doesn't feel as if Susie Bates is going to get a bowl from here, would you say?
Unless they just wanted to show something different, but...
Well, if the definition of a wide is out of reach, then that one from Jess Kerr, well, yeah, it just sometimes happens, doesn't it? Out the back of the hand, it flips up.
I still want people to go and try and whack that for 4.
Just go chase it.
Yeah, go chase it. Well, we saw that so often back in the day. People would just chase after and try and hit it anywhere they like.
You'd want the ground to swallow you up, don't you? As a professional cricketer, you don't want those things to be popping out like a bar of soap in front of a crowd on a beautiful sunny day at Hove, which it is. It's spectacular for watching cricket. And the crowd here at the moment, they're on track to watch an England win, 59 for 2, the target 81, so 22 more runs needed. Knight and Bouchier together. So the blips came when Sophia Dunkley spooned a catch to mid-on, a ball banged in by Brie Illy, and she looked furious with herself, didn't she, as she was walking off, Sophia Dunkley, because it felt actually she was just starting to get into a stride, finding a few boundaries, and then a soft dismissal offering the catch. And Alice Capsey before that, LBW to Nancy Patel, but one that she should have reviewed, and if she had, would have been given not out. So, yeah, a couple of England dismissals. They could have been in a more commanding position than they are. They do only need 22 to win because of the bowling performance earlier. It's Patel in again to Bouchier. She comes forward, plays a very correct forward defence. You don't see often too much in T20 cricket, do you?
Just having a look around the field, Elliot, talking about the fielders being off that boundary rope. All the New Zealand fielders are on that boundary rope at the moment.
Patel is in, flights this one. A little bit of inside half of the bat this time to a short mid-wicket, no run.
I remember in the WBBL, Glenn Maxwell worked a lot with the Melbourne Stars, and they did a lot of research, and in the women's game, more balls landed in front.
There's Patel, moves in, flights it outside the off stump. This has worked from the offside through to the leg side. Kerr is there picking up on the edge of the circle, 1 run taken.
So more balls statistically landed in front of fielders in the outfield than they did then over the top of their head.
Right.
Because they felt like, depending on the boundary sizes, not as many females were able to hit 6s consistently.
Okay.
Apart from the likes of a Sophie Devine.
Yeah. Patel moves in, plenty of air. It comes a low full toss and a reverse sweep attempt by Heather Knight. Just dinks it towards points. Fielded, there's no run.
Just on that shot, reverse sweep, there's no fine leg in place. There's a deep backward square leg, that one that's on the boundary that she got dropped at. I would have thought maybe a conventional lap was her option.
Yeah, it's where the gap is, isn't it? Patel in again with the dark hair, a little bit flatter this time, defended, patted into the onside, no run.
Yeah, so what he did, he worked a lot. Danny Gibson was probably a big recipient of his coaching, spent a lot of time working with him, and she's now effectively a mid-wicket specialist, and she's that player that's always off the boundary rope, probably 7 or 8 metres off the boundary rope.
Patel in, quicker this time, a flick of the wrist to loft it over mid-wicket. Brings in the field off the rope, and Devine picks up cleanly, sends the ball back into the middle, just the one taken by Knight. That's the end of the over. No, 61 for 2, another 20 needed. Knight on 9, Bouchier on 18.
So he taught them, you would have seen him in Australia a lot around how he took that incredible catch up and over the boundary rope, was able to throw it back in the air. So he did a lot of work with the girls on teaching them how to do that, where you create a chance in front of yourself and back that you've got enough time to be able to get back on the boundary rope. But he taught them the technique of when you do run backwards, you need to go in like a 45-degree angle. So in your peripheral, you can see the boundary rope behind you. And so you move back in a 45-degree, and you have we call fingers pointing up, which is just a stock standard cup catch, not reverse. And what you do is you go 45 degrees, and then your momentum goes back. And if it's going over the boundary rope, it's just around trying to get up in the air, or lean across and try and catch it over, and then throw it as high as you possibly can in the air to give yourself the time to be able to come back in. But they were saying that the fact of going 45 degrees back when you had the option and moving into that position made such a difference in terms of knowing where the rope was.
New over is Matt. It's a good stop at point. Patel getting down low to a strong cut shot from Heather Knight certainly saved runs, and some warm applause as well from the crowd acknowledging that. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And you make it sound so simple when you describe it, but yeah, even that sense of running at the 45 degrees so that you've got sight of the boundary rope kind of makes perfect sense, but not always executed.
Yeah, but I think I do, and we used to have this, is be at least 5 metres off the boundary, create that opportunity in front.
They're racing in. A shorter ball missed by Knight, looking to deflect it away down towards deep third or through the cover region.
And you always had that discussion as a team, what are you comfortable with? And a lot of the bowlers and coaches will say, I'm comfortable if it lands between you and the boundary rope if you've gone for the opportunity in front of you. Because quite often you get a bit gun shy as well. You go, I've gone too close, and now it's just popped in between the boundary rope and it's gone for 4 and it looks ugly, and people sort of go, well, why are they not further back? But then you forget it, but you don't measure the opportunities that they've created in front.
Mayor in, lofted shot from Heather Knight, thumps this over mid-on for 4. Wide of mid-on. A walloping blow off the bats. Propels England towards their target further. They're now 65 for 2, another 16 needed.
Such a strong area through that mid-wicket, just a couple of shimmies across. Heather Knight gets her body just outside that off-stump line to be able to hit through that mid-wicket region. I just feel like when Heather Knight's at her best, she's moving at bowlers and creating momentum, and she's so good at them manipulating, whether it's extra cover or whether it's mid-wicket. She can hit all in that diagonal or perimeter, either or.
Perimeter, maybe. Matt goes in outside the off-stump this time, finds the gap between point and extra cover along the ground out to the deep. In comes the throw. Knight's taken another 1, so she's now 14 from 20. He's the former England captain. Boucher 18 from 23 on strike once again. Yeah, would you always rather see a fielder move forward and go for the catch and sort of end up maybe like parrying it or sliding into it, but they've tried to make that opportunity rather than, that thing where the time when you see a fielder start to move in but then pull up and wait for the ball to bounce so that they can field it cleanly and send it back in?
Yeah, I think you'd rather go for the catch because wickets are so vital in T20 cricket. If you're able to pick up wickets, especially through the middle overs, and make something out of nothing.
Illing's come up inside the circle at short third here. There's this one waiting for it. He's easing off the back foot up towards extra cover is Boucher, no run.
But I think as a collective you have to agree, like when you measure your fielding at the end of a game, you say, and I know the Stars did this a lot and teams sort of started to buy into what they were doing, was that we measured how many times we were diving in front of how many times we would stop. I remember talking to Danny Gibson and she said, Glenn Maxwell challenged me to get inside the 30-metre circle. And I said, well, that's great, 'cause it's not quite 30 metres. And she said, well, he measured it like that. But she said that was how intense that they wanted us to get forward and aggressive in terms of fielding. And it probably that Australian mentality as well.
Yeah. Mayer moves in. For Boucher, swing and a miss, rather lurching forward, wide though, reaching for it as well, outside that off stump. And Sue Redfern spreads her arms, another one to help England's total. There's been a few wides, and the no ball at the start of the innings from New Zealand, but yeah, this one, you've got the blue markers either side of the crease, and that was comfortably slid outside the marker by Rosemary Mayer. England now need another 14. The discipline's just not quite been there with the ball from New Zealand today. And we're defending a low total. There, moves in once again. Just opening the face of the bat to dot ball though, as Nancy Patel's there at point to field. End of the over. It's another one gone. 12 gone. England 67 for 2. Well in command of the run chase to win the series in the pursuit of 81 to win. I was talking to Alex earlier about the first ever T20 international that happened. What are your memories of the men's one in New Zealand then? Like, do you remember watching it? Did you watch it on telly?
Yeah, I did watch it on telly. They looked a bit crazy. I think they had the Marshall twins had really curly hair, and they went out and got a perm. And so the hair was like an
massive
afro.
bouffant, with a headband.
Actually, Craig McMillan, who's the batting coach for the White Ferns, played in that game, and he had the dirty chopper goatee, where it goes right down to the chin. It was sort of a Mickey take, wasn't it?
Kerr in, Amelia Kerr. Oh, it's a full toss, which has been lofted away for 4 over cover. Not too many ugly deliveries from Amelia Kerr, but that one was a juicy offering, and it was duly put away. England 71 for 2, right on to 18.
Amelia Kerr looked like she was probably just bowling her googly. It's been quite challenging for her in terms of when she's bowled, it's always out of the power play, but really been able to have a pressure moment.
Kerr in again, reverse attempt, and caught straight to point. Quite almost in identical fashion the way Susie Bates was out earlier, but Nancy Patel taking a comfortable catch. It was hit firmly by Knight, she got a good piece of it. Well, on this occasion, it's brought her downfall. So another wicket for New Zealand, but England have lost their third wicket. Heather Knight for 18, but they're only 10 away from their target, 71 for 3.
When I think back about Heather Knight in the last game and here, she's played 4 reverse sweeps, 3 of them being dot balls and then one of them being this wicket. She would have backed herself Nancy Patel, who's probably about 2 feet tall off the ground, that she might have been able to get above her. She was full stretch at her hands. Heather Knight just throws her bat underneath her armpit, cusps it walking off and goes, I cannot believe it. But it's just a shot that we know she's so good at. But with that third and point in place, it's been positioned perfectly. It's almost like she's trying to get the air up and above that fielder, but she's just not got the elevation with the bounce.
Yeah, and not quite the right shot to play with the point fielder there if you can't get underneath it sufficiently. Right, out comes Freya Kemp. Can she be the finisher here for England? Only 10 needed to win. A lovely feeling to be out there to hit the winning runs. Alex Hartley has joined us as well. Katie, you're sticking with us for the end of the match? I think you are, yes.
I'll stay here, I guess, yeah.
Here is Kerr around the wicket then to the left-handed Freya Kemp, who's on the drive. Ball skews a little way off the outer half of the bat out towards deep point. She's off the mark with a single. Alex, Heather Knight's dismissal, the reverse sweep. She'll back herself with it, won't she?
It is such a strength of hers. She hasn't managed in the last couple of games to get it away. It's just finding those angles. And I don't mind her playing it. England are in a really strong position.
Kerr in again. Missed through to the keeper. Wide signal, just squeezing down that leg side to Bouchier. And I do like Jackie Williams when she signals the wide. She gives it the jazz hands as well. You noticed when she spreads her arms.
She's applying for Strictly, I heard.
Yeah, very much. Kerr over the wicket here. And forward comes Bouchier, strokes it out towards extra cover.
Ellie, I can see you on Strictly. You're
Me? You took it out?
No, you. No, Alex, definitely not.
I once was described by my athletics, PE teacher at school, that when I jogged, did cross-country running, as Kerr moves in, drags it down a little bit and fields off her own bowling, no run. But I resembled a giraffe. I'm not sure the giraffe are the most... Well, they're quite not unelegant, but, just maybe...
Like Phoebe from Friends.
Pardon?
Phoebe from Friends.
Oh.
You like Friends.
Yeah, I
Phoebe
do.
from Friends have terrible running technique.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Down the leg side again. Anything on that? Amelia Kerr is half appealing, but no. But it is a dot ball. 77 for 3. England 8 away from their target.
Hang on, Alex. So, in the UAE, Ali played her very first game of paddle.
Yep.
I think you might have been around there. And we nicknamed her the first day praying mantis. Those praying mantis, it was just like everything was limbs and everything was around. And there was no one that took it more seriously than her at that point in time.
And I got to nearly every ball.
Yeah, and then
Go gadget
next
arms.
thing I know, she's getting professional coaching in Spain. She's gone well beyond ours, and now she's apparently going to sign up for the Pro-Am. Here's us old praying mantis moved in from now professional.
Praying mantis, giraffe. There's not a lot of elegance in any of that.
Well, they say put 1,000 hours in.
Strictly will be beyond me. Right, England need just 8 to win. Brie Illing has the ball in her hand. Flame red hair, tossing a catch to herself, and Freya Kemp on strike. Izzy Gay just takes a half step further back here for the pace of Illing, who moves in left arm over to Freya Kemp, forward and driving square, takes the gentle one and brings Bouchier back on strike. I guess for every innings that Maya Bouchier plays, it's quite an important innings, isn't it? Given what if, the what ifs around injuries, and she's not in the World Cup squad, but in this scenario, 18 off 28, she hasn't really made the impact that you'd want chasing this kind of target. I'd be showing it you can get your strike rates up. Just trying to hit that one a little firmer. Can't get it past at mid-off. Tumbling stop. Is it towel or cap? What's on the floor? Cap's still on it.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Rosemary Mere, yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is stand on those.
Oh, no.
Not cheap these days.
A couple of £100 down if you stand on those.
Good tumbling stop nevertheless. Did lose her glasses. Oh, nearly squished them.
There's a couple of players I will say wear Prada sunglasses.
No, there's not.
Oh, yeah, you guess. One
Grace
plays
Harris.
for England, 2 play for Australia.
England need 6 to win. Kemp chops it into the ground past Patel at point, and it races to the boundary at 4. Really well placed. There's a fielder on the cover boundary, and that was just timed so sweetly. It races away, and now England need just 2 to win.
Yeah, lovely shot from Freya Kemp. obviously not under a massive amount of pressure. If her ball's there, she's so strong through that offside. Slap it through the covers, and she's done exactly that and edges England closer and closer.
New Zealand girls reckon she hits the ball one of the hardest in this England side.
She's demonstrating it. 2 to win. A bumper left alone, but wide signalled into the gloves of Gaze. So England now just 1 away. That draws the scores level with the extra. So England have 80 on the board. New Zealand were all out for 80 inside the final over. 19.1 overs their innings lasted.
This always makes me laugh. 1 to win. Everybody comes up. Could you not have done this 10 minutes ago when England needed 10 to win? Try and put a bit of pressure on.
Scores are level. 1 needed for England to win the series. Kemp forward misses, a play and a miss. He's taking a shimmy forward to Brie Illing. Can't be nerves.
Right, before this game's done, go on, who are the 3 that wear Prada sunglasses?
Sophie Eccleston at times, Elise Perry, no surprise, and Alana King, because she got given a pair from Elise Perry.
Very good.
What are they, about 700 quid?
Yeah.
Don't tread on them. 1 needed to win and to win the series. Illing to Kemp, and she eases it forward, takes a quick single to mid-on, and England are victorious. A 2-1 series win over New Zealand, and they've dominated them in this third and deciding match to win by 7 wickets. New Zealand all out for just 80, and England have knocked off their target in 13.5 overs. Commanding win, Alex Hartley.
Yeah, dominant today. Obviously under the pump a little bit after the second T20 and the series being levelled, and we've spoken so much over the last 12-18 months how England cope under pressure. Well, there was pressure on them going into today's game, their final warm-up game against New Zealand, so to say, before the T20s against India start before the World Cup, and they were set the tone brilliantly. Lindsay Smith absolutely outstanding again with the ball, backed up by Danny Gibson. And if you can take consistent wickets and you have somebody like Danny Gibson getting the big 3 out very early and very quickly, New Zealand are always going to struggle.
Katie, is this a match that's raised more questions than answers for New Zealand?
I think the questions will still be there around their batters and the selection of those, who New Zealand are going to go with their opening pair, how they manage those middle overs, and I guess the reliance upon Sophie Devine is so dominant at the moment. And I guess who they're going to look at in terms of their seam bowling options. I think they'll reflect on this and say, look, we've got confidence in terms of that second game that you can get out of a troubling position. But I thought England made the adjustment in their bowling. They stuck to their A plan for a lot longer than what we saw in the second game. They were ruthless in saying we're going to try and win this game, and they made the bowling changes to be able to reflect that throughout the game. Love what Sophie Eccleston did in her combination with Charlie Dean through the middle. So for New Zealand, how they play spin better, Al, you talked about that. I still think that teams feel like they can outrun New Zealand between the wickets, and that was a big difference. England got a lot of runs between them and fielders rather than New Zealand were looking to be able to hit between the gaps. So there's some discussions and thinking points to go out about that. But England in a really nice position to come up against India. New Zealand will have 2 warm-up games, and that'll be them to decide what their first 11 is going to be. I think Sri Lanka's their first game at the World Cup.
Yeah, Maya Bouchier not out 19 at the end. Freya Kemp is unbeaten on 7, came out to hit the winning runs. Alex, is it really the bowling today that has impressed you the most? I mean, chasing such a small target, because it would have been ideal if England were able to win by 10 wickets and the openers knock it off. So there'll be a bit of frustration around that for a couple of individuals, but...
Yeah, but the bowling, you know, when you bowl a team out for 80, you know, your bowlers have done the job, haven't they? In a sort of, you think, oh, if they could have been chasing 170 again, like how they would have gone about it compared to the last game, it would have been nice to see. But ultimately, England want to win games of cricket, and they're going to win fans back and the crowd back, and I guess the public by winning games of cricket. And the fact that they were so dominant today is going to put a few smiles on people's faces.
Player of the match. This has been announced already, I think.
Well, we'll announce it.
No, maybe it hasn't yet. Am I giving it away too early? I've just been handed player of the match. We'll wait for a moment. Who's your player of the match?
Danny
Alex?
Gibson.
Yes, there you go. Katie, agree with that?
Yeah, I'm going Danny Gibson.
Who would be your player of the series overall as well? 2-1 England win. Lindsay Smith.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, we'll get that corroborated. But yeah, very good performances, and England are showing that they're so strong in the spin department. And of course, they've got the backup of your Danny Gibson, the conversation's still going to be around the Gibson Kemp, who will get that final spot. So Gibson's putting in performances like this today. She's sticking her hand up
Absolutely.
every time she's got an opportunity.
Absolutely, and she's not batted as much as she probably would have wanted to. I think she can be really destructive with the bat, but she's played a brilliant role with the ball today and definitely putting her hand up. But then Freya Kemp comes out and finishes the game and strikes the ball really nicely. So there's a few selection headaches for England, that's for sure.